buffs, but in Game 2, the comfort just worked. Even though, technically, I think Mineski did give him a little bit of space to make it work.
Yeah, they did. And this was one of the comfort heroes that they did run. It was the Elder Titan of GH that they played in that game. But it's a valid point to raise, right? And this, we've had the pleasure of casting 4 Liquid games so far. We cast them against Newbie as well on day 1.
We did.
And I think one of the things they need to work on the most right now to get back to the form that we're used to seeing them in is that mid-late game cohesion of the team, where, yes, this last game against Mineski, they crushed all 3 lanes, so the game almost played itself for them past the 15-minute mark because they were so far ahead that they had a lot of margin for error. But in the games against Newbie, for example, where the games were kind of closer, it seemed like once the game got later, they were making the better decisions. Same in Game 1 against Mineski. And what we want to see from Liquid, obviously going into the series against LGD, who have been looking good, like you said. They're 4-2, I do believe. They have been having better results so far. Is if you want to compete with a team like LGD, you need to be able to play them in that mid-late game. You cannot rely on winning 2 or 3 lanes every single game. That's not really realistic at this level of competition. So, as far as LGD goes, they've been banning some of Liquid's trademark heroes. Io and Chen, I think, has been banned against Liquid every game we've seen them. This Beastmaster, they have got their hands on a couple of times and played. Whereas Liquid are choosing to take out the Enchantress of Chalice, the Leshrac of Maybe, and then finally the Ogre of... I'm not sure if they've been playing that on multiple roles or just on support for FYI. I think maybe they've played it on Chalice one game. Not sure. They were struggling against that Ogre against Mineski anyway. Maybe they're just like, we don't like this hero.
Yeah, let's just take it out. These are the things that have caused us a couple of problems, especially... It seemed like any of these just like this early spam and easy cheap stuns that could be coming out. Like Liquid seemed to like to wait a little longer for like the 5-6 minute mark and then be ready to fight. But Ember Spirit comes up, so this is going to be another bit of a comfort for Weeha, and let him shine with his own talent to make this hero work.
10 seconds remaining.
He had a not very good game earlier today on Ember.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of problems for Ember in that game. He was playing against Moonlight Shadow and multiple stuns, so in this game, if it's more of an Ember game, then maybe he'll have a better time. But I find picking Ember in this slot when you don't really know your matchups a bit dangerous. Perhaps Liquid consider Ember good in lane against Tide, so that if they need to, they can put him in a side lane, and just have Wee play there and put Miracle mid. Because Ember, one of his strengths in the past has been that he can be played both the mid and the safe lane role. And if they have this, Miracle also plays Ember, which we shouldn't forget.
Yes.
So both players could be playing this hero.
But it's a little risky too, because LGD could now just pick up something like a Nyx Assassin and just start roaming ganking, using Spike Carapace as like that instant stun to get the control on the Ember. But maybe it doesn't work as well with the SD follow-up. Like you want something else.
I don't know. Ember is a weird hero in the sense that even if you counterpick it, in some games Ember is still going to look really good. It's very volatile by nature. It's like, it's about having the best vision, it's about getting the jump. Or other heroes, it's a bit more straightforward how you counter it. Like, you could pick Nyx against Ember and you're like, yes, we have a counter to Ember, but you still need to find the type of fights, and the game needs to be played in the type of way that Nyx beats Ember, which is when Ember is split pushing and gets caught by the Carapace. But if the team groups up and have sentries, all of a sudden the matchup doesn't really go that way anymore. So it's a bit situational.
Yeah, Nyx came to mind too, just because of the laning phase we saw. Like one of the games we cast on day 1 was an SD and a Nyx that will run in support combo. This disruption into, I think it was Nyx as well as Lesh
in a tri-lane against Mineski.
Yeah,
they destroyed that game.
Yeah,
the Shadow Demon has been very popular and has had good results. I think his win rate is still pretty good. Most of the games that we've seen SD, he has been winning. I don't know if he's like 60% win rate or maybe even higher. But he has been one of the big supports of the tournament on position 5 primarily, but also some 4s. We'll see which way LGD choose to play it. I think
he's actually he's 3-way tied for the most picked. He's actually got the exact same win rate as the second most picked. Ogre and SD both are being picked 24 times, and they're 62.5% win rate.
So that's 14 and 10, I guess.
Yeah.
That sounds about right to me. Okay, so, yep.
And ET was number 3. ET's been picked 24 times as well. So they're the 3 top picked heroes.
ET's win rate is a bit less.
It's 45.83%. It's not as great.
Yeah.
Actually, Gyrocopter's got the best win rate for any hero that's been picked above 20 times at 70%.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
It's very interesting because when you think back, just 2 months ago, you would never pick Gyro without IO. But we've kind of reached a stage now where it's good again because of a couple of patches and, you know, whatever people make work. Lion is going to be picked up for LGD. So I had this feeling that the Shadow Demon was going to be played by X-Nova because he plays a really good defensive Bane for this team. And there's a bit of overlap between the mindset and the positioning these two heroes use as position 5s in team fights. But with this Lion, both of these heroes could be 4 and 5. You don't necessarily know. Perhaps that's the logic here for LGD is they want to wait and see what the core matchups are. Shadow Demon is exceptional against certain cores, and Lion is good against others. And on top of that, they're both kind of good against Ember.
Just to throw the question out there, obviously there's some broken mechanics with the IO mids, but are there any other supports in your mind that can actually start to be run as cores as well? Not that LGD need to go like a little ham on this, but
Pugna.
That's problematic for Lion to say the least.
It kind of goes both ways, right? He kills people in defensive Decrepify pretty easily and stuff. So let's see. Supports that can be played core. Now you're kind of putting me on the spot. I'm just looking at heroes right now. Ogre. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've seen him. Hello, Jakirah. Welcome back again.
Silencer for sure.
Silencer would actually cause so many problems for... actually, not that many for Liquid. It'd just be problems with timing.
In the past, we've seen some position 3 Crystal Maidens. I haven't seen any of that this tournament so far. Dazzle is kind of mainly a core nowadays, but also has the ability. I mean, there's enough when you go through them, but none of them are like really appealing. Maybe the standout one is actually Enigma, who can play both 4 and 3, right?
Yeah.
But when you're playing 4 Enigma, are you really support? I don't know. It's like it's like the least support you
You're the 3.5.
Yeah.
That's what you become.
Pretty much. So here comes Gyro, like we pointed out. Really high win rate. How many picks did you say it had? 20?
So, yeah, it's been picked 20 times with a 70% win rate.
Okay. So that's 14 and 6, is it? I think. Yeah.
Let's just say 70% win rate.
14 and 6, because 15 and 5 is 75. So it's 14 and 6. Okay. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a really good win rate.
Yeah. And it's also just a nice combination now that LGD have. Like, it feels like they got a lot of single target focus. SD, in my mind, like, it just... Like, when you purge up the Ember Spirit, like, what's he really meant to do? And then you've got this team fight between Jakirah and Tidehunter, the single target between Lion and SD, a lot of amp that can already come out as well. Control and... Sven, you were asking for this. You were asking for this. I don't know if it was at the end of our last Liquid game that you said this, but you're just like, why can't we just have mind control on a hero that he can just do a lot with? Nature's Prophet, bring him to this.
Yeah.
Because they've always been, like, they've been picking, like, in the games we had earlier today, Mind Control was picked first phase without fail.
It's a bit different, though, because what I was saying was if they want to pick Mind Control's hero early, I think this is the type of hero that they should pick where it has laning presence, it's hard to shut down entirely, and if it has a tough game, it can play off its teammates very well. The problem that we had was when Mind Control was playing other offlaners that were like dependent and then had a hard time. And then they couldn't really find the balance between how does Mind Control play into this game, how do we help him while we also help Weeha, who's been struggling a bit in some of his lanes. So I like the Nature's Prophet pickup theoretically for Liquid in the first phase, but I don't know how much I like it here. It's not a good matchup against Tide. That's a lane matchup that Tide loves. He gets Kraken Shell, the Treants deals 0 damage, you just farm. And against Gyro and Shadow Demon, he skills Flat Cannon. He kills the Treants together with Shadow Poison.
He solves the problem though that we saw from Liquid where they couldn't early pressure.
Absolutely, they have push.
And like Prophet jumping in with Pugna, you can push a lot of lanes, but that's also assuming this will be a wee Pugna. And then a Miracle Ember Spirit, if that's the way you actually go down. But
very likely though, what they're gonna do.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering with the inclusion of Lion, like, if you just like prioritize that Pugna into the mid, they banned the Meepo, so LGD is still feeling that maybe this could actually be a support Prophet.
That's
absolutely
an option.
Or even just like a 3-position Pugna if we take a leaf out of RTK's draft book.
There's plenty of options here for what Liquid can do, but I still think they will do the Weeha, Pugna, and the Miracle Ember. If they do anything different, the Nature's Prophet could be a 5 for Kiro, and then they pick a different offlaner for Mind Control now that they have. But they had the same amount of information when they picked the Nature's Prophet to begin with.
Yeah.
They don't see any extra heroes. They've only bought themselves some time, so let's see what they're going to do. They ban out the Kunkka, which would give LGD insane teamfight, and it's a maybe special.
Yeah, and it's a Drow Ranger.
Drow strat.
So that's a Miracle Drow, which means it's a wee Ember. And you're pushing either Pugna or Nature's Prophet into the 3 roll.
It is a 3 Pugna. It's one of Mind Control's favorite heroes. So it will be Kuroki playing the support Furion, unless they put support Pugna.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I've seen Kuro do it before. Kuro has played the Pugna before. And that would be the way it would go too, because ET is still going to be played by GH. But how do they lane this then?
This feels like a 6 Storm
5
game
seconds remaining.
for maybe. I think he really wants Storm.
Do you think you'll have enough time though?
There's
Like,
plenty of fragile targets. They have the stuns. They have the team fight to set him up for success. It's one of his favorite heroes. He can jump the back line, which is really what it's all about against heroes like Pugna and Drow.
but if
they
he
have to
doesn't
be
have
considering
immunity
it.
though, like if and Dro hits the gust, he could be like really heavily
For sure.
trapped.
There's always the danger of that happening. Okay, totally different direction. This
Counter
is-
the team fight into a farm kind of lane. Sure.
This is another hero that's really good
It's
against
a
Drow.
wee. It's
in
actually a
different way,
Weedro, Miracle Ember,
though. And Kuro.
and Korra Pugna. So Mind Control is the Nature's Prophet, and that puts GH and ET.
Okay, so this Naga Siren pick is also really good because if this game extends long enough, they have very few tools of dealing with the illusions. It's a very common counter pick when Drow started getting popular. People started experimenting with Naga Siren because if there's one thing Drow's bad at, is killing multiple targets at once. Until
Yeah.
she's like 6 slotted and has the Tesla build, it's hard to deal with the Naga.
Hey, she's fantastic once you have Acronym Scepter and the Mjolnir. Like then you can kill multiple targets at once.
but it takes a while.
It takes a very long time.
And maybe we'll be playing a mid gyro. That's kind of no one-esque from the past. Mainly no one stands out to me as a mid gyro player, but yeah, okay.
Well,
so
for me, the original was Fada.
that's true. He was playing it a lot too.
He was the original. He was the one who was like, I'm just going to skill homing missile, max that first.
So we've been talking about Liquid as this, like, in this phase where they're kind of showing all sorts of things, and there's not like any. This isn't necessarily weakness, by the way. Playing a lot of different stuff can be a strength if it's done well,
Yep.
and it can be a weakness if it feels like you are struggling to find your groove.
You mean like
right?
they're just drafting this because they need to push game? Like push game is the game you go to when it's like, well, I don't know what other game I should be playing right now.
It's like, I'm not judging. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying what we've talked about. This is even more new stuff from Liquid. They're playing a
Yes.
Drow strat. They're playing a support Pugna. There's a lot of new stuff being pulled out here. So I feel like either this is going to look amazing or it's going to fall flat. And judging from how Liquid's tournament has been going so far, I think there's reason to be a little bit concerned for them. But let's see how they pull this off. Their laning is something very special in this game.
I love these pitches. I don't think these are the right lenses. Ha ha.
But we do have Mind Control and the Nature's Prophet, which is an absolute treat. He is exceptionally good at this hero.
Yeah. What is that face
Might
from
be his
GH?
absolute best. Support Pugna? That's his face for support.
That's just his face.
Are you sure, Koro? Yeah. LGD, I think it's fair to say they have more of like a straightforward draft in a sense. Like this
Yes.
is more standard for the draft, or for the meta right now. It's more standard for how they usually play. What I would like to see out of Liquid to try to execute the strategy is tempo. Like, you gotta play fast. You have a Pugna, a Nature's Prophet, and a Drow. You wanna start taking towers. You wanna limit the map from the enemy, because if you don't and they start farming up on Naga and Gyro, I really don't favor you later in the game. Like, there's this mid-game timing that you have to hit. Get auras, get like pipe against the Gyro and all the magic damage from the other heroes, and see what you can get done. Well, let's see how this goes with the laning, because you know, whenever you have a support Pugna, the laning is always a little bit spicy.
And I actually want to see how LGD handle it. We've spent a lot of time talking about like Liquid, mainly because we've seen these guys a hell of a lot, and we know they've got a lot to really try and prove at the moment. But how does the combination work with LGD? SD as well as Lion. It feels like they can always just catch at anyone they want. And X-Nova and FY are just sitting on bottom lane, trying to make Mind Control's life an absolute living hell, which is normally the job of the Nature's Prophet. Like, we've seen Blightstones with just Treants harassing out all the supports in the lane. But at the moment, X-Nova and FY, they're just messing up the lane so Ame gets a really great off-lane Naga.
Yeah, so what's happening here is they're zoning off the Nature's Prophet, and they're blocking his own creep wave so it gets into tower. And what that will do is it will force the wave to get pushed out really quickly. And now that Mind Control has TP scrolled down here, if they wanted to lane swap, they could do it right now because the Nature's Prophet's here. However, once he gets level 2, of course, he can skill teleportation. So they put some good pressure. GH is going to arrive bottom to try to help. He wants to face the tri-lane so he can get most value out of his Astral Spirit. And because of that, LGD are like, nope, we don't want a tri-lane after all, so we're going to send the Shadow.
Yeah, well, let the Naga Illusions do their work on the bottom instead.
Yeah, oh, some decent damage being done to GH bottom. Not too shabby.
Yeah, he's got a lot to work with, though. Still got the Stout Shield, and Mind Control's got the Ring of Basilius up and running already.
I think this is a good start for Liquid as far as the lane placement goes, though. I think they wanted to avoid Nature's Prophet against Tide, and it was a bit of a rock, paper, scissors thing.
God, GH is really not giving up on FY. Trying to beat the crap out of him underneath the tower. One quick Earth Spike's going to at least keep GH under the tower. He's not going to go under the tier 2, however. No matter how hard he thinks he can push that, Lion's still got boots and still has really good movement speed. I'm interested to see how Wee does in mid. It's always a fun thing with the Draw Ranger when you're actually able to run the mid because you're guaranteed to get these very fast levels up and running.
Yeah, the level 6 in the past was obviously extremely powerful for the Ancients, but now that that's changed, I'm curious how they're going to approach it, if they will still put Weeha in the jungle on Drow and just farm big camps, or if they're going to try to use him a little bit still for lane pushing. This is a hero we don't see very much lately. Has it even been picked TI until this? I have not seen a Drow game at TI until this one. Out of all the games I have watched. We haven't watched every single game, but we've seen a big sample, and it has been picked, we're being told. Okay.
We have an area, yeah.
It has been picked. Maybe once, then.
God, FY, don't be down that far. The Spike again trying to create a little bit of extra space, but GH has the movement speed. That's to be first blood. Perfect hit, perfect block, and that's first blood going the way of GH, and Arme even being body blocked up by these trees. This is why you love watching Mind Control on Nature's Prophet. He makes life so hard while Chalice will go down to Miracle. Up on the top, another Spike. GH in a little too deep underneath the tower. He'll die to the tier 2. And FY would like to go for a little bit more, hitting into Mind Control. He'll need his Spike back in order to get this kill, but he's got full mana, and that's going to be Hex as well as Spike. But Mind Control, enough life and enough armor. He just backs up.
Yeah, FY backed off because the Elder Titan TP'd. He felt like if he was going to chase for that kill, it would end up costing him, so he plays it safe. Nature's Prophet will TP back with the scroll, and then TP back to the lane with a teleportation spell. One thing that only this hero can do this early on in the game. Obviously no boots of travel available to anyone 3 minutes in, but this guy can technically play like he has boots of travel, so very nice. Yeah, that was excellent body block from Mind Control, and the Impale from, or the Earth Spike from Lion when he came back, just as good.
Alright, GH is doing so much damage again. Up with the 61. Just runs in, tries to use the side camp, but the Hex is from FY. This is the upside about this Lion. The double levels of control through the Hex as well as the Earth Spike. X-Nova would like to get a bit of a crack in towards mid, but he's right underneath a Radiant Observer Ward, so that means Liquid know there is an opening up on top lane.
Yeah. There's some cool synergy between Flame Guard and Decrepify, but unfortunately then you can't Sleight of Fist or attack meanwhile, so...
You'll have to do better than that.
Is we actually global taunting X-Nova at the moment, even though like he didn't reveal the Observer Wards there?
He might be.
It's like, you've got to do better than that. Don't just stand, just getting no experience whatsoever near the mid lane. Because this is a waste of an SD. He's been waiting here for a good minute now for an opportunity on Weeha, and Weeha's not giving it to him.
Yeah, Weeha at the same time is also winning the lane, so he's doing an excellent job on this Drow mid. This is not a matchup I have very much experience with, so I don't know how it's expected to go, but always feels good to be up 500 gold without getting a kill at 5 minutes. He must have forced out a couple of salves on Somnus, I guess, with just flat out right clicks with the Frost Arrows.
Because the CS isn't that different. Like, it's 21.5 to 25.8.
Yeah, exactly. It's 4 CS difference, but 500 net worth, so there's got to be some healing salves involved.
Well, here's the Bounty Rune contest. So Ember will take the one up on top. SD, for all that long wait, he was able to claim the other Bounty Rune. So it still ends up being a straight up 2-2. Oh, they're going again. FY solo at live GH, plus 101. I think, yeah, 159 damage is enough to get a kill on a support Lion.
Yep.
And there's not a lot Arme can do about it. Like, you start to wonder, like, do you need that extra control point? Just 1 point in snare for obviously diving Elder Titan time and time again.
It could be pretty good value, actually. You know, we've talked about this before with Naga Siren, how the trade-off is if you skill and snare, you farm a bit less, but it gives you some other play potential. Nice juke from Arme.
They are coming for
no idea
Wii.
which one is real.
They are coming for Wii. FY's around the back. X-Nova's there as well. The Observer Ward was already placed.
Gyro 6.
We 100% knows that something is wrong. He can scan if he wants to, but...
He could also ult chat. You have to do better than that.
GH is making another run on bottom lane. Arme is just being forced out. And this is exactly what they wanted though. Fortification being burnt, Kiro will just keep like level 2 nether blasting out, while up on top lane, goodbye Chalice. The jump in the back lines, Nova will be able to get disruption off, combining with the call down. Somnus has arrived, Miracle's actually, sorry. Yeah, that TP out will not happen in time.
It's important they get this return kill because the supports are spending so much time not accomplishing anything around this mid area.
And FY actually getting his Earth Spike out over on Nature's Prophet. Arme was staying right on top of mind control. It felt for a moment like the Sprout was meant to be the initiation onto FY, but it turned the other direction, and mind control will have to burn the south.
We're going to have to put Chalice mid since Gyro TP top, so he will be leaning against Drow as Tide for a bit.
And how much damage can FY really take? GH comes in, and here we go again. Plus 162 damage, he just needs to hit once to kill off FY at this point.
That's a very quick safe lane tower, or offlane tower rather, taken. LGD lose their offlane tower minute 7, and that...
But you were expecting this though when you have a Prophet as well as a Pugna.
Even though you have Prophet and Pugna, it's still fast, because this tower is generally not that easy to push. Maybe you would expect them to take another tower on the map, like the top tower usually is the one to fall first, but with this rotation onto the Nature's Prophet's lane, it's just a very natural move, and they know that Gyro doesn't have TP to defend since he's top. Speaking of top, by the way, oh, he mistimed it, just barely. The homing missile hit during the disruption for just a moment. They can't get the kill. That would
now mind control is going to arrive. Somnus, the ET stomp's going to put him to sleep. He's instantly woken up again. As the cooldown creates some level of space. Hex from FY, he's going to arrive with a follow-up Earth Spike. Miracle will go down. Nova will lose his life for this too. As FY drains GH dry. Yeah, the attention definitely moved up towards top lane as mind controls arrived. And everyone's just enjoying this plus a 61 attack speed. Obviously, everyone apart from the Elder Titan, but that's the other way where you're able to just push down these towers.
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't forget the impact of the Drow Aura for pushing the towers too when he activates that for the range creeps and for the siege creeps. At 10 minutes, Liquid will absolutely be looking for minimum 1 tower, maybe even 2 when the siege creeps start coming out, so keep an eye on that, and keep an eye on mind control, because I feel like Liquid will want to come back to him top very soon.
They're going up to Miracle.
But for now, yep.
They want him before he's level 6. FY's coming in from the side. They can easily get the Hex and the follow-up done. Even a Ravage being triggered, stopping the Elder Titan, making sure nothing was going to come out from his stomp. FY, however, GH has hit so hard, plus 166 damage, because all the heroes got hit by that as mind control beats into Chalice. But that's Chalice. That's a huge-ass Tidehunter.
It's a huge mistake, too. That's just flat-out miscommunication from LGD. They full-on stacked the Earth Spike and the Ravage, so they ended up not having enough stun duration to take out Miracle, and then they also lose a hero in the process, getting killed off by the Elder Titan. That is really bad news for them. That's
and because Ravage is down, like that's the one thing that would have stopped Team Liquid from pushing.
Yeah, now they're just like, cool, no Ravage, let's go mid, let's go top after.
Nova's going to make a copy of a copy of a copy, mind control. I've already taken the tower, however, so all this does is just make Liquid think twice, like, do they want to keep going into the tier 2?
I feel like they'll go top, or at least 1 or 2 heroes will go up there. For now, it's mind control going up and probably going to be spawning some treants, and then see if he can get the tower on his own, if LGD even want to try to defend. Honestly, I just love this from Liquid. I think, you know, you've committed to this pushing style, you have to play it like this, and the enemy team picks Naga, you double down on it. You go as fast as possible, and they're playing very aggressive Dota right now.
GH? I was thinking Nova would actually try and do something about this, and all he does is throw down a defensive observer ward. In case Liquid want to get a little over-aggressive while up on top, mind control, Somnus and FY working together nicely.
He didn't think they were going to try to defend and catch him out there, but they did. It's going to cost them a bounty rune, though.
It's really good, though, for FY. Now he can get a little bit of space up on top, he can get his 6, so that kind of roaming gang can happen a little faster.
It actually cost them 2 bounty runes. Liquid got 3, and 1 treant denied the 4th one. So, mind control's death actually kind of was just flat out worth it.
And LGD are in defensive mode now. Somnus has just gone jungle. Chalice has gone jungle. The supports are the ones that have to stand inside the lane trying to get that level 6s because they need the purge against the Ember Spirit, and they need the finger, which Lion now does have.
The finger is really useful this game.
Yeah. As long as he can avoid Nether Ward, then yeah, he'll be very happy.
Even then, it's a support Pugna. The level of Nether Ward is not going to be high until very late into the game, and you know, Finger is only 200 mana level 1. It starts being really scary on level 2 Finger because the mana cost goes up so high. But level 1 Finger is not that bad. You can cast all your spells during Pugna Ward as Lion without dying. He has Tranquil Boots, he's going to start healing up after. It's alright.
So is it worth keeping Finger at a lower level?
maybe very situationally. I mean, the cooldown reduction is really important.
We're about to have a big fight up on top. The wraparound from Somnus as well as X-Nova. Put their Observer Wards down, and now Drow Ranger into the call down with the Perch. Weehound won't be able to walk away from this one. He tried to TP, but that won't work either. With the flank cannon damage, GH in mind control back under the T1 tower. They are in relative safety, but Kuro's caught on the wrong side of the tracks, running away through that dire Observer Ward. But X-Nova and FY can't close the distance. Meanwhile, Mind Control and Miracle make the most of that on bottom lane. They're pushing the tier 2 tower. Song of the Siren's already been burnt from Arme and allowed him to escape back out. So he can't just instantly attack in, but FY still can't do that much. He doesn't have Finger. And there's no Ensnare, so there's no real fear for Team Liquid on this bottom lane either.
Yeah, I still think you're happy here with your LGD. You need to buy time, right? It's a Naga game if you defend your towers, and it is a good Naga game, not only a Naga game. It's not like pick Naga and just play safe and then you win. You know, it's not that simple, but in this game it is a really good Naga game. So if you enable Ame to get toward 2 or 3 key items and you buy time and protect the towers that you can, you're doing all you need to do. You don't need to find a lot of kills. You don't necessarily need to use your cooldowns perfectly. You just need to use them for something meaningful, right? And this finger kill on the Drow is totally fine. It's going to cost them the top tier 1 tower. This tower will fall in this game. You're not going to be able to hold that.
Yeah.
It's the next ones that you want to try to defend. Maybe even top tier 2. By the way, I want to point out Chalice's item progression. 300 gold from a dagger. So that's kind of an aggressive approach. As a team that wants to play kind of defensively, a lot of the times you would see Tide build like a wall build. You just get super tanky and stand in front so they can't push towers, but they want to take fights when they have Ravage.
As you said, like, you got to hold the tier 2 towers, right? You need some level of initiation. That's one thing LGD doesn't really have. They've got Song of the Siren, but that requires Team Liquid to be caught out of position.
Yeah, the alternative would have been to go, you know, really defensive item build, right? And just stand in front of the tower. If they try to go for it, you run in, you anchor smash, you gush someone, and there's a little bit of a follow-up from a call down or a lion stun or whatever, and the enemy team has to back off. But this is a much more aggressive way of thinking that they kind of want to, when they get this dagger, I think they want to try a team fight, more or less 4 and 5, just because Gyro is so strong at this point in the game. He also went for a timing build with the early drum, so kind of you have drum phase and 2 Wraith Bands. It doesn't get much more early mid-game centric than this as far as builds go.
They're really trying to use Gyro as bait up on top so SD and Lion can go together, but the TPs come to bottom lane. The tier 2 tower under attack. Mind Control is just holding back but letting his trees do the work.
When Flame Guard is down, he can't kill Naga Illusion, so you need to make the most of it. Ame is doing a good job at spreading them out and delaying this as much as possible instead of keeping them together. And you know, Liquid are not really accomplishing anything right now. They're getting farm on their Drow, which is fine, but this game is not really only about this gold graph and how much you're ahead. It's about like the flow of the game, right? Some games you can be 10k gold behind and be winning, and other games it's the other way around. And this doesn't feel like the game where if this tempo just continues for the next 10 or 15 minutes and Liquid take no objectives, that they should be happy about it, I feel. They've got to force something, but it feels a bit difficult, doesn't it? To just go and take a tower.
Yeah, because then you're fighting into what LGD want. Like, LGD are ready to fight. They want you to come underneath the tower if possible. And pushes like this, like, it's all it's going to end up doing is feeding Treants over to Somnus, push him closer towards that BKB, and then he'll even be stronger, ready for the fight.
Yeah. They're going to struggle a little bit with killing a BKB carry this game, because Ember will deal next to no damage to the hero. And Drow's okay, but needs a little bit more in the tank before she can kill a BKB Gyro with 20 armor.
So is that the point when you look to see...
Yeah, Miracle's ensnared.
Problematic, but he's got a spirit. But look at Charles, he blinks directly forward, and Miracle has to actually jump himself back over again. He's got the movement speed, or does he? Another spirit down over the river. No, it was just a little bit too short. X-Nova will see him for a small moment, but he couldn't actually get any kind of like disruption off. So Miracle has the run all the way around.
Chalice didn't want to Ravage. That shows something about their mindset, right? He wants to use it for team fights at this point. Because that would have been a kill on Ember, I think, if he Ravaged. Or maybe he's a little bit cautious now because they overlapped it last time. He's like, uh-oh.
X-Nova's caught out. He got one disruption, trying to cut free of the Sprout of Mind Control, but that's one very dead SD.
Easy kill. He got a ward down. Let's see if Liquid identify this and get rid of it. This is a fine ward. It's going to give them good information about how supports are moving across the map. And again, just buy them that time. This is definitely not Ame's best farmed Naga game, but for now, it's good enough. Liquid's 4k gold lead is It's definitely good, but you see it on the win expectancy graph, right? I'm not saying this graph is the holy grail of everything, but you know, a 4K lead minute 16, in some games this graph is 80%, and in this one it's 50. And it's because Gaben has seen a lot of games of Naga against Drow, and Gaben knows that Drow is good, or that Naga is good against Drow.
Yeah, if you don't get that early pressure, she'll end up just getting on top of you.
So it's good. It's good for now for Liquid, but you got to keep the ball rolling. You want to get Roshan. You want to get towers. They have one medallion on the Elder Titan, and do they have? Is anyone building Deso or something for towers or Rosh? Not right now. I don't think they can.
You got an Atos on Kiro. He actually completed that a couple of minutes ago. So you're getting Maelstrom for mind control, so he's very much focused on clearance and side push with magical. Army is working towards having a Manta style. As we get our Hex off, it's going to be Ember Spirit very much caught out. FY, he could have actually committed the Finger of Death. Remember, that gives that plus 40 buff.
I think the cooldown's more important. I'm a big fan of not using it to just amp it up. You keep it, because the spell is more important than the plus 40 damage for the next time. It is, after all, a 160-second cooldown.
I suppose it's, yeah, still the
if
level 1.
If you have Ags and level 3 ult, I mean, fine. Steal whatever you want. But for now, keep the cooldown, because now he might get a secondary kill because he saved it, perhaps up top. And let's keep in mind with the gold graph that we talked about, the 5k lead for Liquid, that was with 0 towers taken from LGD. So in terms of raw farm, there's just more available for the taking on the map for LGD if they get a couple of towers eventually. So it's a little bit misleading in the sense that if you imagine these 2 towers are down, is actually only a 1k gold lead, and that's not, it's not that much. Unless Liquid can control the map and actually use this tower control to control more of the map than 50%, LGD is doing fine.
Oh, here's your Rod of Atos going to work right on top of FY with the ET Stomp. Chalice is thinking about jumping forward, and he'll think twice about it. Also,
with that DD,
mind control, jumping himself forward, ensnared up. Chalice still has that Blink Ravage available. Mind control's low. X-Nova starts creating a couple of copies, but where's the extra health? Now the Blink Ravage comes in, right on top of mind control. Enough damage, it should be. He's actually hiding inside the Sprout, beginning his TP out. The Anchor Smash won't be enough damage. Mind control will get away to safety. But the ET Splitter, how much have they got? Arme just wants to reset things up for a second. And he'll TP away to safety, but the Rod of Atos, it cancels it! Kuro kept the range! Arme will die, and Miracle will claim his second kill for that fight. Oh, Kuro just knew exactly where to be. Right place, right spot. And they'll go in for Roshan. Ravage is down, they feel confident. No Song of the Siren either. Then no buyback for the Naga, so they can't even scout. But LGD, they want to contest. In they jump, hit the Anchor Smash. Somnus, what have they really got? The cooldown will begin, but the Rod of Atos once again controlling up Somnus. The homing missile goes towards Weeha, but Chalice, defensive disruption. X-Nova trapped inside the Sprout. They've got a little bit more damage, not just a little bit, a hell of a lot more. Miracle jumps in for the double Searing Chains. A double stun will be nice, but he's still burning in the Flame Gun. Miracle, even while napping, is able to kill LGD.
Oh, that's so much more than what Liquid came for. They not only get the Roche, they get 3 extra kills, and I don't, you know, it's always easy to say afterwards, like if you're in that position, you want to try to defend the Roche, but if that call down completely whiffs, I think you get the hell out of there. You just, like, you caught your losses. Let Liquid take the Roche. You messed up top in this team fight when you got your Naga caught, and you just have to let them have this control, because eventually Liquid will have to try to use this Aegis to go high ground, right? And that's the real challenge for their lineup. And now you made it that little bit easier for them by giving them 3 extra kills. You know, and all of them on Miracle. That's maybe not a little bit easier. That might be a lot easier.
Yeah, this is a hell of a lot easier. And the Aegis turns into, hello, Arme. You've found a friend. Caught inside the Sprout. The quick TP out. But is there another control? Mind control. You can go down. Arme has just enough damage thanks to the Illusion's Riptide. But normally you use this Aegis on a ranger to go for the tier 2 towers. You just cleared them out, and yeah, Tide caught out. No Ravage available. Somnus goes in for the cooldown. Ember Spirit with the Finger of Death. FY plus 40. Somnus flat cannoning out, but Kuro giving the extra life towards Weeha so he can stand his ground. But that's the BKB of Somnus, the full 10-second one burnt. And now the homing missiles also chasing Weeha. They want more. FY's coming in too. He can get the follow-up chain stun with the Observer Ward and Sentry. They see a hell of a lot of information too. X-Nova, what's he got? That nice extra cast range, but the force up, it pulls Weeha a little bit further away for a 3-man gust. But instead, right on top of Pugna, Chalice wants to help out as well. They still want the kill on Weeha. These homing missiles, they just never stop. Kiro will finally go down to the gyrocopter, and they break the Aegis Immortal. But how much more does LGD have? Arme's waiting on the hillside. Weeha, he's just going to actually BKB and TP away under the cover of his ET splitter. So many huge abilities being burnt by Team Liquid just to run away from LGD. Yeah, but they have claimed all the tier 2 towers now.
And the Ravage is still available too for LGD. So if Liquid were to try to go now, they will not have the Aegis, they will not have the Drow BKB, and the Ravage is available. So I think LGD successfully bought themselves a little bit of time there, but like you said, Liquid still taking some good towers, getting more progression toward that base. And now the next step is probably going to be the hardest. And if they pull that off, this is the kind of lineup that can win the game in one fight. Like, the game could hang in the balance now for 5 to 10 minutes, and if Liquid pull off a really good move, they can take 2 or 3 lanes of barracks with Pugna, Drow, and Nature's Prophet if buybacks are unavailable for LGD. But you got to get there, and getting there gets harder and harder as Naga's item progression continues. She's now going to try to take this mid-tier 1 tower.
Not just going to try, they're going to try and force a fight with Naga.
Yeah.
4-man smoke up, they move through the northern front. Observers and sentries ready from X-Nova. So they'll try and establish a little of extra vision. But they're not finding the heroes they're looking for. All of Team Liquid, like Mind Control's up on the very far north lane, Miracle's down at the bottom. They're pushing in the sides. And Miracle's just trying to find that last bit of money to finish up his own BKB. And the same thing for Mind Control. He's just short of his BKB. Another 300 gold, and FY, he's going to find him in the trees. Mind Control around the corner. FY, yep, found him. Hex him up. Gyrocopter's going to come and help and give the homing missile so they can chain their 3 stuns, and it gives the extra information. On the edge of the cooldown, no, the rockets won't be able to connect. Mind Control, he just needs to get himself the hell out of here, but he can't just TP, or can he? He begins it. Have they got another stun? They have a Hex. Okay, they will stop him. But it seems to be wasting a lot of time from LGD when, again, they didn't want to kill Mind Control. They wanted to get more than that.
They actually got to him because they all have, like, Quelling Blades. There's a Quelling Blade on Gyro, there's a Quelling Blade on Shadow Demon, and they cut the trees to get in there. They have them against the Sprout, of course, and I would imagine we see some Force Staff coming out later. Lion is queuing one up. Shadow Demon might get one eventually, but he's not that rich. But yeah, they find that kill. Now, things, again, calming down a little bit. Naga is continuing to farm up. Gyrocopter is... I'm very curious to see what Somnus goes next, because I think there's different options here. The Ags would be the obvious choice, I suppose, but you could always try to get some of a different item build. Since you're not the primary carry in this game, you have the Naga on your team, so you can try to take different routes.
But it does feel like you need something a little bit earlier, so maybe the Ags is the best build, because you're getting a hard build up from Naga.
Yeah, Axe is absolutely fine, but it looks like he's queuing up the Butterfly, so he wants to have that evasion against the Drow. It helps, but you know, there's still the marksmanship.
And Wee's not really behind in items in scaling, so he can just finish up his Hurricane Pike and go into the MKB if he really feels the need.
Yeah.
But I do also like your idea of the Tesla Ranger. Its efficiency.
He's going to need it eventually. Liquid has got to play for one of 2 game plans. Either they try to win the game within the next 10 minutes and they build for that, or they're like, they don't believe that they can do it and they try to go super late. Because this game is winnable late game against Slark. It is, but it's really hard. But sometimes you just don't have the choice, right? And then that's what you go for. And you do see Weeha starting to do it. He's going Eggs. He's building up the Eggs. He's probably going to get a Maelstrom after that. So they have a way of dealing with Naga. They just don't feel like they will win it in time. And I agree with that assessment. I don't think it's possible, really, to brute force this, except if you bank on a big mistake from LGD.
That's an interesting TP. Kuro just went right underneath the Observer and Sentry. Finger of Death comes out. Kuro's instantly exploded.
What was the plan there?
He must have thought they didn't have any kind of extra information, but that Observer Ward saw everything. Charles is going to go down. Weeha's damage output is huge. Is he going to ravage? Weeha's still BKB'd. He didn't want to burn it. Somnus will burn his BKB and TP out.
Okay, that was the plan.
That was the is it?
I don't know. I mean,
explain said plan.
Sometimes you do bait a hero to set up a fight. It looked like he came in too early, but it still worked out in the end. I thought he was a little bit too quick on the trigger there. But, you know, they got the trade-off. They got a tide for a Pugna and helped their tower. I think they're happy with that. BKB used on Gyro. Drow also used BKB though, so that's kind of an even trade-off, I suppose. But yeah.
Yeah.
The big items that are needed on LGD right now are Force Staffs. That's actually just going to be super game changing. You see how these fights are going. It's Drow running people down slowly, or they get chained. They can deal with Sprout. Like, Liquid's lineup actually just flat out struggles against Force Staff. It's like the best item against them. Look how many people are queuing it up now. Tide, Lion, and Shadow Demon all want Force Staffs.
And you know LGD skill, like they're going to kite the hell out of this, and their
Absolutely.
positioning is going to be absolutely perfect. And if it's slightly wrong, Arme just song with the sirens.
Heart on Naga now.
Yep. Yeah, I'm actually kind of like Whis changed his mind. He's not going for the Aghanim's anymore, and I just as a personal thing, I really prefer efficiency when you get the Maelstrom first and then go into the Aghanim's. But he's going to go for a Silver Edge instead.
It's against Tide, but I'm not sure I like this. Because, again, I think the problem will not be solved by doing this. Yeah, you're going to break the Tide, but they're going to have Force Staffs eventually. And they have Disruption, too, to outlast this
Somnus.
Silver Edge
This is I know you got BKB, man, but you're very much alone, and you're surrounded by Team Liquid. All they need to do is get a proper stun. Here's your ensnare, there's your BKB, and yeah.
All you need to do is get a stun, guys. Just stun him.
Hey, BKB burnt down to 7 seconds. He's already TV'd himself forward. ET trying to create a little bit of extra space
wait,
with
what?
the splitter and Wrath of Nature.
What?
It bounces through.
What did he Ravage?
Good question. Shiva. Miracle. Now jumping forward. Song of the Siren has to be used once again. Is there the Atos in range? There is not. Arme will walk it off just in case.
Can we get a replay of that? He might have been blink cancelled. Either that or he was trying to get Weeha on the edge of it in the tree line when he was TPing out.
We get a nice slow motion
That
replay.
was
PGL production.
Maybe he got hit by one treant or something, but I don't think that breaks his dagger. He shouldn't take damage from that.
He's getting annoyed with it. It's like, alright, my 4-staff is done. Won't cancel anymore.
I don't know. That was very weird.
We actually have a small moment as Naga gets initiated, almost the other way around. Chalice, no Ravage to work with, but it won't matter. Weeha up way too far. Miracle thought he had his target, but X-Nova, defensive disruption. Now finally Miracle will be able to get it up. The Sleight of Fist wears off with a Searing Chains. He's able just to spirit himself away, but Kiro won't be so lucky. Somnus wrapped around the northern side and gets the cleanup pick, and this is a big time. Roshan will spawn up in 36 seconds. So we have to watch the Roshan pit, because that's exactly what LGD want. They do not allow the second. So where is this Ravage? It's
I think
there.
someone was pinging the Drow. I think Naga pinged the Drow, and Chalice tried to get him on the edge. He got hit by Wrath of Nature. Okay.
That'll stop it. All right.
Because there was the ping coming out at the same time, and I was wondering, is he just trying to clip him on the edge with Dagger on cooldown? But if he did have Dagger ready, that would cancel him. So that's really nice for mind control, so that's what he was actually going for. That's a very, very high skilled play. But yeah, in the end, Ravage goes down, but again, Liquid don't accomplish anything with this on cooldown.
Yeah.
On the flip side, they lose their Drow for Shadow Demon, and the Ravage will be ready again in 30 seconds. So
Yeah. So either they do Roshan within the next 30 seconds, which it doesn't look likely. Liquid are at least aware he's alive, thanks to the Trinket being killed. And they can really slow this down. This isn't something LGD can just slip in and take.
mind control.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
TP forward. Feels like he's a little bit of bait here. He's got BKB available. X-Nova going to disrupt him up. Nether Ward is down. So FY does not want to burn that level 2 Finger of Death anywhere near it.
That was kind of a bold TP. He gets hexed, and then Soul Catcher fingered. He almost dies for full HP. You gotta be careful.
That's the Weeha spot from earlier today.
I mean, he did have a read on where the other cores were, I guess, so that's why he felt confident TPing in there, but not BKBing is very, you know, that's bold. He got away though, so all good.
Walks back to base. Just finish up the next item. He's still got to hold his buyback. His surplus is only like 1250, like 1200. But it doesn't matter. He's still going to buy up the Mjolnir.
Yeah. That makes him a really big kill now, because he has a lot of damage output and he also has no buyback. LGD don't know that, of course, but Smoke's gonna break.
Miracle with the double damage rune. Look how much damage instantly just goes into X-Nova. They have the control over on Pugna. Able to find that kill. FY almost killed himself with it, but Miracle will finish the job. The buyback's coming in, SD and Pugna. Miracle's BKB's wearing off, but he's still got the DD rune. And look at what Prophet does. Instantly down, picking up the bounty runes, back into the money, back into the farm. They know LGD can't claim an objective.
This is how it often goes when it's not your own Force Staff. I think that was Chalice's Force Staff, but FY didn't have time to turn correctly. So yeah, it's the only Force Staff they have, so it was Chalice at that time. And he could have probably got away with that, but instead he does die. 1 buyback per team. Ravage still intact, that was not spent. And Liquid again pop BKB on Miracles. Now it's down to 8 seconds, and so is the Drows. And you gotta watch out for these BKB timings, because when they drop for both teams, there are some serious problems to play around for either side. There's the Ravage that Liquid need to play around, and there is the, of course, the Elder Titan Stomp that the LGD side have to play around primarily.
You talk about the balls of mind control from before. Like, he just TPs in to the top lane. It's like, hey guys, I'm just gonna sprout up Somnus. If you want to BKB and just escape from me, and then he just sits there and farms the wave instead.
He has a Clawing Blade.
Yeah.
For now. He can't keep the slot on Gyro. Which means either he has to go Pike eventually instead of this to get out of Sprout, or he needs to accept sitting in Sprout. It doesn't feel good. Naga being annoying in mid.
As always. Rooting up Korra. Korra also went for the +3 Nether Ward health. Just anything to make sure you've got more problems.
Yep.
Somnus underneath the Radiant Observer Ward's gonna be careful. We able to get the silence, but the Hex on Nature's Prophet, the Finger of Death, instantly dead from mind control. Again, one of these TPs where you don't BKB. And LGD punish hard, and the Song of the Siren may allow LGD to punish even harder. Charles, he's ready for the Ravage, combining with the call down. Kuro, they want to knock him down. Charles actually holds off on the Ravage, and Weeha will just BKB back out of this one. And maybe with Charles being forced off down, he could finally kill off with the Ravage. GH, he clips the back of Dro Ranger, but he has no more of a team. Miracle will come in and finish the job. Charles is down.
He lost a gem.
And they do lose the gem. 4 heroes down, and they'll probably lose Roshan. It's exactly where mind control is headed right now.
And that's... It's hard. It's so hard. You're watching this happening, and first of all, mind control at buyback, which is really important for the outcome of this fight, that this time when he dies, the buyback is ready. He got the gold from all this farming he did top. But Song into Ravage is hard to execute against 2 heroes of BKB. I think Chalice made the right call not ravaging there, because both cores were going to BKB and he wants to wait them out. But at the same time, his entire team hard committed into that Song. So maybe you're better off ravaging and killing off supports in that Ravage, and then hoping you can outlast the cores, or you just don't go in with the Song. But I think they felt confident that mind control didn't have buyback, and that's why they went for it. You're going to see it right here. He doesn't really want to ravage this because Weeha's going to BKB, and Miracle in the backline is also going to BKB. The Elder Titan cast no spells. He got instant hexed out of the Song, so that was not a problem either. But Ember and Drow just have a free fight. And if Chalice instant ravages, they have that anyway.
Yeah.
Like, that would not have changed this at all. So it's about whether Pugna and Elder Titan casting 1 spell less each would have made a difference. And
Wame found mind control down the bottom lane. Sprout will come up. Remember, mind control does actually, they gave him the Aegis Immortal so he can be more aggressive as Kuro. Puts the Rod of Atos down, FY, forced-staffed away by himself.
Yep, this time he's got it. And I think they're going to let Shadow Demon farm on top as well. Now, they did lose the gem. I think that was maybe arguably the biggest loss there.
Yeah, so it's on, actually, Kuro's got his own.
Is that his own? Wait, where's the other gem?
Yeah, no, there's one on Kuro.
I think it's the enemy team's gem.
Yeah, right? it's just not showing up as, as owned by somebody else.
I don't know why it didn't show that.
There's... Yeah, okay.
Weird. Okay. Well, I do believe that was originally bought by Xnova. I think he was the original purchaser of the gem.
Okay. We'll go with that until proved differently. Aghanim Scepter is now done for the Gyro, so it took 34 minutes, but Somnus has arrived with that, and he's going to go Satanic.
He did stop for a butterfly in the way.
He did.
Give him a break.
I wasn't being any pressure on him. He's fine. He's fine. Everything's okay, remember? You're playing a Naga game. A Naga with 25,000 net worth, and going in for a Scythe as her next item.
Yeah. And this next item on Gyro is going to... See, that's another problem Liquid are going to run into, that they're probably going to need scythes themselves, because if they can't reliably lock down heroes, when this Gyro gets Satanic, I don't think you kill him, actually. Even if Drow is just non-stop hitting him, if he activates Satanic with the side gunner running and he hits one with his regular hero too, I think he's just going to sustain through everything, and Naga will get a free fight. So you got to have a way of isolating and killing heroes, and currently...
It's definitely not coming from mind control. He's gone full combat. He's gone AC, the Mjolnir. He's finished his BKB as well.
I think he's going Hex next. I don't know.
You know, his AC sitting back in the stash, so he needs to go home at one point for it, but it has to be Hex next, right? Either that or he goes full DPS. Like, he's gone plus 40 attack speed, the 10 armor, the 30 damage. This is one of those games when remove teleport cooldown and you just basically go like Desolator and start ripping apart buildings as well. Or actually MKB.
Yeah.
Miracle's going to enter in the bottom. Speaking of buildings, tier 3 towers under attack, and LGD feel a little late to this fight. Miracle.
Ooh.
That's
that was actually close to connect. I don't know if they would have tried anything with that, but if that Earth Spike lands, perhaps they can follow through. He could try to open with Hex. I actually think he was in range. How many Force Staffs do the Radiant have? They have 0? They have 1. They want an Elder. And a Pike on draw. Not happening then. That's fine.
Mind Control's back to his split push game already.
Yep. It's what he got to do. He's played a great game so far, in my opinion, on Nature's Prophet. He's been doing his job. I'm just curious to see what he queues up next in his quick buy, because it's going to say a lot about what Liquid's approach is to the game. Now that Weeha has still not gone for this Axe, they feel like they can deal with Naga. That's got to be Miracle's job. Did I say Miracle for draw? Weeha? Yeah, whatever. Ember's going to deal with Naga. I think that's the call here, that we think Ember can solve this together with a Nature's Prophet Mjolnir. That's enough for the Naga for now.
Well, he's going Shivas into Aghanim Scepter for the Ember Spirit. And still nothing in the quick buy for Mind Control, but I'll let you know when he's got something in there. Korra's on the de-warning mission. Aghanim Scepter.
Yep.
On Pugna, so all about survival.
Killing off illusions with the Scepter cooldown 0. That's what he wants. He's just going to spam it on Naga in the fight and try to kill as many healers as possible.
I like this pressure from Miracle. He did it on the bottom lane, now he's up on top. Clean up the creep wave, Spirit back out again. Always force a TP back from LGD. So LGD, as they're rapidly approaching multiple heroes to the tier 2 tower on bottom,
yes,
they won't feel confident.
The classic Naga
Oh
TPing
my
back
god,
to
what is this? Mind Control, get the hell out of there. His disruption comes up. He's still got BKB TP, and that's exactly what he's going to do, and there's nothing they can do. Mind Control will complete. Meanwhile, Chalice and Somnus. Miracle's coming up behind them with the double damage room, but a quick blink away from Chalice and then walk straight back over to him. That's the play. As Miracle, he'll Spirit straight past Somnus, but Mind Control, he's joined the fight. The Hex is out, combining with a Ravage! Goodbye, Miracle! Goodbye, Mind Control! The Aegis Immortal will pop. The rest of Liquid was thinking of coming over, but they're going to leave him for dead. A perfect timing stun from FY, and that is a dead Mind Control.
I don't think Miracle accounted for the Hex on Naga. I'm not even sure he knew it was in play.
That was the first reveal of the Hex.
Yeah, when he was defending against the split push top, didn't he have it yet? Maybe they didn't click him.
Yeah.
So he TP'd back to defend against Nature's Prophet, which in itself is funny that Naga TP's back to defend against split push. When you think about it, that's kind of usually the guy causing the trouble, not the one solving it. But yeah, either way, Miracle was not aware of that Hex, and that is costly. They know Nature's Prophet doesn't have buyback. They're going to force this really hard.
Ember will have to buy back.
He has to buy back if they want any hope of holding this lane. They can choose to sacrifice it and keep the buyback, because the other 2 lanes have tier 2 still standing.
But what are you going to do here? Like, Naga's on the front lines. He's still got Song of the Siren. She's going to run hard. They find the Nether Ward over in the tree line. Decrepifying will make it a little longer before they can kill it.
I think sacrificing this lane is the right call here.
Yeah, you have to let it go.
You have to let this go.
At least the tier 2 towers, he said, like, no, they're up. You're not going to have the push come in. If they want to force the issue, GH be happy to hit him with a phone book. Because this is the other downside for LGD. Like, they group up and they then play into ET's area.
That's why the BKB of the Gyro is so important, that it gets used effectively. Because that's the one line of defense he has against this Elder Titan. And once that goes down, it can get really scary. But yeah, really good from LGD here. They punish just one mistake from Liquid, and that's a really big one. It's a very costly mistake. They were clawing their way back into the game, kind of, in terms of win expectancy, and now we're back to where we were 5 to 10 minutes ago with
75%.
LGD just firmly sitting on the map.
A little bit more than that now. It's
Yeah,
about 80-85% now.
You should never count out Drow, though, in this kind of game. Like, when it goes late game enough, Drow becomes a very magical hero almost with the cooldown reduction talent on 25. You can do wonderful things. Everything has half the cooldown, including your aura to split push waves. But for now, he has a way to go to get there.
Do you actually think you'd go for that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You always 50%?
I don't know.
Like I like the precision aura just for like the assistance that can be given.
I think I've seen it literally in one pro game ever, the other talent.
Okay.
One time, maybe, or maybe it was a pub. I don't know.
Kuro's coming out. He really wants that rune. The Hex comes in from the real army.
Oh.
No protection. Kuro. He has
disc?
the Aeon disc, and FY wasn't really ready for it. He'll end up going down. Song of the Siren didn't protect anything. Arme just wants to walk it off, but Mind Control, as well as Miracle, they want to try and fight.
Nice disc reveal. That's super good value. He blocked a finger with it and got a kill on the line. Very nice. Now what's next?
Roshan, 100%. He may respawn in 10 seconds time, and everyone's just going to watch it.
Yeah.
Because this will be the third Roshan as well, so we'll have our extra booty.
Ember gets the Shiva, so Miracle is still progressing in the way of dealing with Naga, with both Radiance and Shiva.
My God, with Mind Control doing this, I'd love it if he actually had a Shadow Blade. It's just so we can do this split push a little bit more efficiently.
It's going MKB. I don't know, man. I really feel like they need a Hex. Like, I really stand by that. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're actually doing a pretty damn good job, in my opinion, in fights, but they're suffering from lack of lockdown. They're almost relying on LGD to go into them and overextend a little bit, rather than create their own opportunities.
And with this build, Mind Control really just needs to be amped. That's what this feeling is. I actually think this may be the second pro game that you actually get to see the plus 25%.
It's possible that they're just going to try to stand their ground. Like, they're going to pop BKBs, just stand still and hit stuff.
Yep.
But, you know, you can get kited by the Force Staffs. And there's, it's pretty tricky, I think, for Liquid right now.
Mind Control again, like, as the real Naga Siren coming in. Ensnare is up, and you'll start to see just how much damage can be done. BKB Sprout TP out.
Good thing he has 41.
And it is.
It is really tanky.
This continues to burn the BKB charges. As Gyrocopter coming in very, very close. Ember Spirit's going to get the Searing Chains off. Draw Ranger, Somnus just BKBs up. Mind Control, hello! He just jumped in, he sprouted, but he's actually locked inside the Roshan pit with Somnus. The Finger of Death to give the extra damage. Mind Control's down.
What?
And Roshan is up. Good question. Good question. What the hell indeed?
This guy has no chill, man. It's true.
Oh, now they find Miracle with a Ravage. No. Chalice hits so hard. Miracle's down with no buyback available. And Armades in the back lines. They're catching out all these cores. Weeha, he has to BKB and tries to push him back over. Somnus will walk back in again. You've got 3 LGD players licking their wounds in the back lines, but it won't matter when you've got the tanky Immortal Arme on the front lines, killing off Weeha. Consume the cheese all you want. Take away the rest of your life into the follow-up stun. One after one after one. Team Liquid, they fall down. The struts around this house. A triple kill, an ultra kill for Somnus. They'll go back, they'll finish Roshan, they'll take the Refresher Shard, they'll take the top towers, the bottom, all the top towers, and they'll probably even take the game.
All the bottom towers.
All the towers.
All the Refresher orbs. They'll take everything. Yeah. They can get Megas here, for sure. I think going Roche would be just flat out a mistake. It's not necessary. They know the buyback is, or actually, I'm not sure they know exactly the buyback status. I think they know that
his Mind Control dead again.
Drow doesn't have it based on items. Again.
The Ensnare's going to come in. Arme needs a couple of extra friends. Okay. He's going to create a couple. Okay. Is he?
Yeah. But
he is.
But
top's
but
not.
Really, it's the base is not okay. So.
And Arme can just instantly rejoin this as he TP'd out towards the shrine. They're just going to go and, like, yeah, take the mid-racks, get the mega creeps up. We've seen teams come back from mega creeps, but this will be a surprising one.
Slightly different conditions.
Yes, slightly.
By the way, I want to point out what LGD just did. I love this. It's one of my pet peeves that a lot of pro teams do, and LGD didn't do it there. They left the Shadow Demon with the creep wave to hit the range tracks instead of staying there with all heroes to make it as fast as possible. So they send the majority of the damage that they need to the mid-racks so that they can kill them as fast as possible while top is taken down by just a creep wave and a Shadow Demon. And that effectively saves them maybe 5 to 10 seconds here that, you know, could have made a difference for Liquid's possibility of defending. A lot of the times you see players just tunnel vision, okay, we're getting racks, then we're getting the other racks, and then we start in the next lane. But, you know, this is just flat out, just objectively a better way of doing it. So I love seeing that efficiency from LGD coming out. It shows really good.
This is going to be the last fight.
Communication as well.
This is totally going to be the last fight. LGD don't even start Roshan. Like, they've chipped him down a little bit, but they know Liquid will come to try and contest it. They know they'll smoke up. MKB done, you've even got an Aeon Disc over on the SD, so getting these early pickoffs is even harder. ET with the Spirit, able to get the stomp off. Jarek up to court, 4 heroes, retreat back, Miracle, instantly Hex back up, and Finger of Death, he will just explode. They force-dive him out. Korra is giving some life and Somnus on 160 HP. He's still got the Satanic available, now he'll trigger it. The SD will disrupt him up, it's actually wasting time with the Gust back. They're gonna kill off Somnus, as well as the Lion and SD. Team Liquid, they're gonna try and take Roshan. Buyback comes in from Gyrocopter. Ravage still available from Chalice. He'll jump in. He'll hit the whole kit and caboodle. But is there there's some life. Weeha with the gust back. He needs to push back still, but Koro and Miracle retreating out through the north. They gave him the life, but look at Naga. She's charging forward. She wants to bring down Weeha. Mind Control is just trying to walk this off. Ah, made the Song of the Siren. It's actually saving his life. Weeha almost killed him. Have they got anything to really get him? At the end of this song, the heart's kicked in. They get the life. The Finger of Death from FY. Puts down the Drow Ranger. Mind Control can TP back home to safety. Ember Spirit can buy back too. But can they defend? LGD can go either back for Roshan. You've got the cooldown talent now for Mind Control. He's going to be everywhere. But he needs to be home. It's in trouble.
I actually can't believe how good that fight was from Liquid, how much they accomplished. He jumped in with a, oh, hang on, Miracle.
Yeah,
He's getting
hexed up.
hexed.
Instead, is there a 4-staff? Yeah, there is. They'll get him back inside the base. As Jakirah trying to have his own little battle. The tier 4 towers to finally drop down. That's a huge creep wave. They need to try and fight this one back. Jakirah will just BKB, finish off the Radiant Ancient. That's what they need to do. GH can't do anything. Fingered down. Mind Control trying to kill off Somnus, but the Titanic gave him all the life to survive this. And there's little to nothing that Miracle can do. Even the Rocket's able to hit. That is GG. LGD in 46 minutes. Playing game 1 of this 2-game series.
Man, that Roche fight was hype. Actually, wow. So what happens is Miracle jumps in on Ember and he doesn't BKB, and I'm like, wow, he didn't BKB. That's insane. And then he gets hexed. He manages to turn around, get double 4-staffed, and then he has his BKB afterwards for the follow-up in the fight, and he forced BKBs from the enemy team because they're like, okay, Ember's here, we're just going to BKB and kill him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was planned or not. If that was planned, that was super well done. Unfortunately for Liquid, it wasn't enough, but that got a little bit exciting toward the end, more than I thought it would get.
Yeah, you really just thought that, like, they were out, like, quite simply. You thought, like, there's no way Liquid's going to win this. You run into Roshan, it's not going to happen. And, like, with only one here, like, they called out the Gyrocopter as the only one, and they still managed to fight hard. But, and LGD, they had so much to work with. They still held the advantage for the majority of that series, and Team Liquid, it was a little bit begging once the Drow Rangers timing didn't fully go through, but they still did well. They still took all the outer towers within like 20 minutes it was. And Mind Control was everywhere, but yeah, as you said, maybe a question on the itemization to finally shut down LGD, who were definitely playing for late game.
I feel like it's really difficult to play Dota like this in general right now. It's one thing to play push strat, which I think we can agree this is a kind of a push strat. At least
it was.
For the
You've
most part,
got Pugna, Drow, and Prophet. It's a push strat.
It's a push strat, but if you play a push strat without catch and you don't destroy your lanes, if you can't just raw overpower your opponents when you want to go for the base, it gets hard to end the game. Like, sure, you're taking all these towers, but Naga was still farming. You didn't really limit her space even by taking towers, because they were just wave clearing anyway. Naga was wave clearing, the Jakirah was wave clearing, the Tide was wave clearing. And why are they wave clearing? Because it's hard for you to catch them. You don't have that many stuns, you don't have burst. Your Drow's farming in the jungle. After you take all the towers, your Drow has to farm jungle. So, you know, it naturally becomes a game where LGD can get time. And that's what you have to try to avoid. And I can't really fault Liquid too much for their itemization, because I think the time that they should get Hex was very late. And at the point when they should get it, they kind of lost control already. So
it wasn't part of the original plan, right?
No.
The original plan was the AC, it was a split push out, it was to go high ground, give Miracle the space to do that, give Prophet the space to do that, and it just never seemed to come to fruition. So, no, Team Liquid, down yet another game here in the group stage. It's not looking good for them so far, but LGD continue they're holding their upper bracket position with this win, but they're not totally there yet. There's still a lot of games to come, and we'll have game 2 of this series in just a bit. welcome back, everybody. A little bit of a longer break as we had to get ourselves a lobby that would work. Liquid versus LGD is what we're up for, game 2. Cinderin.
Yeah.
Last game had a little bit of a swing every now and then, and LGD's kind of came up on top. What do we look for from Liquid? I hate to actually. No, we'll have to start this way. Because we talked so much about Liquid during the last draft. I just want to just get this over and done with now. What do we want to see from Liquid to change in game 2 here?
I'd like a little more lockdown.
Okay.
And a little more team fight, or really committing for the push in strategy. One or the other. There was like a bit of both last game, and I think it didn't really have a true direction in the game. They executed some fights really well. That's why the game got exciting, because I think strategically that game was not really favoring them, but they did a good job at selecting some fights. And they're showing moments of brilliance so far. Like their score right now, 3-6, I believe it is not really representative of how good this team should be on paper and how good they can be. And we just need to see some more consistency from them and get those moments of brilliance to become more and more common, and setting themselves up for them to happen more often as well would be nice. So we'll have to wait and see. LGD played a stable game. Everybody did their job. They had a couple of miscues themselves as well, like layering Ravage with Lion Stun once or twice, and the Song into Ravage fight that failed. So it wasn't by any means a clean game by LGD, which maybe by comparison made Liquid look a little bit better.
It just felt like their draft was easier to execute, though, right?
Absolutely,
just because they had that Naga that they could always fall back on.
Absolutely easier to execute. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Well, since we're starting in a very, very similar way, SD's being banned out, but the Ogre will be able to slip their way through. Liquid actually being the ones to ban out that Elder Titan, who has been one of the most popular heroes to draft during the first 2 days of the TI group stage.
Yep. Let's see what they get with the Ogre. We've seen Marana be very useful for other teams. GH plays support Marana. There you go.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, just say it and it will come, Cinderin.
That's good. Like this to me looks like a solid opener in this meta, in this patch, and the way other teams that are having success are playing. It looks Liquid seem to be adapting a little bit here. The question is if they can play the strategy well. I mean, there's always two sides to it, right? You can be like, oh, if you just start copying everyone else, you're not as good as them. But the other one is, well, if what you're doing isn't working, getting inspiration is sometimes the way back to comfort and getting stronger as a team. So I like this opening. Let's see where they go with it. LGD, maybe we'll see. Oh, never mind. Slark is banned. That would have been a solid choice.
Yeah. Just that
Gyro?
easy setup with the SD. Gyro would make sense.
They might grab the Gyro again.
Yeah.
What did they first phase last time with SD?
It was...
Tide? Tide.
Yeah, Tide.
They picked SD Tide as second pick.
Yeah.
I don't think they necessarily... there's nothing wrong about picking Tide here per se, but it's also not amazing against these two heroes. It's just... Kraken Shell is nice against the stuns, so you could go that route. Okay, they'll get another stun boy. Sanking's made a little bit of a comeback this tournament. He's been quiet the last month in competitive Dota, but...
He's been picked 15 times during this during the group stage. 53.33% win rate.
is back. Now, I play this hero a lot, so I know a lot of hero matchups very well. And the hero matchup I hate to play the absolute most as Sanking when I play offlane is Anti-Mage. And I think part of the reason Sanking is making a comeback is that Anti-Mage is just not doing very well most of the time. It doesn't seem to be looking very hot. Teams that pick it, at least from what I've seen, it hasn't had that much success. And even if teams know how to play it and play an Anti-Mage game, the hero has some innate weakness right now. So that
he's been picked 3 times during this group stage, and it's a 0% win rate.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a huge sample size to work with, but it's more than one.
But if Sanking has been picked 15, I think it's telling. If Sanking gets picked 15 times and only AM only gets picked 3 times, then either Anti-Mage is banned a lot when Sanking is picked, or Anti-Mage is considered a weak hero.
Anti-Mage has been banned twice.
Yeah. So Sanking is just getting picked and not countered by AM, which is, it already makes your matchup better. There's some other matchups that are annoying, such as Slark can be tricky. Liquid themselves are going to ban that. It seems like they have they even played it this tournament? I think they banned Slark a lot. So they don't have to worry about the Slark. He plays a really, really good Slark. But at the same time, it's also a hero that can be annoying for Sanking in that laning stage. So now that is gone. You're kind of removing the best heroes against Sanking in lane at that point. Like, there's other heroes like Monkey King can be annoying, but Monkey King is not really a side lane hero in Pro Dota for the most part. So
It actually just feels like Liquid are banding out the heroes they like as well. They're taking out now the
True, yeah.
Terrorblade. Obviously, LGD can also run this, but it was something we saw Miracle play earlier today. It was kind of like they're all in, but we're going to get Weeha's Alchemist pickup. It could go into the safe lane with Miracle. We have seen that during day one of the tournament, but for now, I'm fairly certain we'd see that in Wii.
They basically banned out the two best carries that Ame plays at dealing with Alchemist. That's what they did. Slark and Terrorblade are both good against Alchemist, and especially Slark right now is kind of coming back. Terrorblade has been picked very little this tournament, but yeah. Slark is definitely a threat too. So yeah, what's Ame going to play to deal with this Alch now? There is... The Naga is not good against Alchemist, so they're probably not going to go that route. The Meepo was banned by themselves. I don't think LGD even play it anyway, so it doesn't matter very much. Yeah, this is a pretty good Alchemist game already.
Do you actually push in the Ancient Apparition, push like the SK3, then run SD and AA?
You could. I think SK is 3 for sure. I'm pretty convinced that this will be Chalice playing it. There could be FY, but I'm kind of digging the AA right now. Buy yourself some time, buy some information. Your support duo doesn't have the most play potential, but you already have a very high play potential offlaner, and you can buy pick cores that have it, like Sven for Ame perhaps.
You need something to intimidate the Alchemist from pushing, like something that actually holds him back, and then you can have a mid that can chase him down. Or you, actually no, you don't need to have him go into the jungle and have anyone contest that.
I think something like AA Sven could be an interesting path to take.
We'll get Jakirah instead.
Huh.
It's all right.
So what
it's
this
a shame Paul's done for the day.
what this tells me is that LGD want to try to put pressure on this Alch and not let him farm and not let him defend his towers. So I think we're going to see more pushing power than just this Jakirah, which is probably a position 4 or 5. So what carries that push are there? There's Juggernaut, doesn't strike me as a very good Juggernaut game. There's Lone Druid.
You've still got the Gyrocopter in the pool, so he can clear off a lot. But up against the Omni Knight, maybe not the greatest hero.
Yeah, well, he's decent because he has hybrid damage, right? He has a lot of magic damage too, so he can pierce the Guardian Angel with that. So Gyro isn't the worst idea, but they primarily need a way of dealing with Alchemist. Okay, so they're gonna go for the Lifestealer, who can obviously hit into the to the Alchemist as much as he wants, but I don't think Lifestealer is very good against Omni Knight. You can purge open wounds with Heavenly Grace. You have Guardian Angel against him, which Lifestealer kind of can't counter-itemize until he gets a Nullifier. So,
but there is at least the nice delivery pop service. The SK and the Lifestealer together, they can potentially just start the fight off with a good initiation. Then you've still got the save from the SD. And I do kind of like the SD against the Alchemist too. So if Alchemist wants to go for this Radiant style build, SD can turn this on the Alchemist.
Yeah, and the Soul Catcher too.
Yeah.
Big Burst is the way to go.
Actually, I think was it Weehaw back in the day, like when that was always happening. Like SD was being played with Luna, and then they play against Alchemist, and you just disrupt me like, well, screw this, and just went combat build. Like it was like Armlet style first Alchemist.
Yeah,
to try and beat it.
I still think you'd probably go Radiance this game, regardless, and you play around it. Now, what I'm looking for maybe, there's a couple of fun options here. They're going to ban the Storm that I thought was a possibility, also because it carries Lifestealer, but actually he could play Bloodseeker this game. Maybe loves his Bloodseeker, he's played it a lot. It's very good against Alchemist in lane, and it's good against Marana in the game too. And Bloodseeker also has the benefit of having multiple damage types against Omni Knight's Guardian Angel, and he can go Radiance. So Lifestealer doesn't have to do it. Lifestealer could go for a combat build and try to play higher tempo against the Alch. That is one option that I see. The Storm was the other one, so that's out of the picture.
The only downside is your push power won't be as much, but you can probably just overrun them.
Yeah, but I think it's about tempo at this point. Alchemist Omni is pretty greedy. Like, it needs time to build up, and what you want to do as LGD is punish this build-up phase. So the other option is to just pick a stable mid that beats Alchemist in lane, so he has to go a side lane, and then you can put an aggressive tri-lane into the Alchemist.
It's a Sanka.
There you go. Okay, so that's another very early peaking aggressive hero for maybe, and then I think what is going to happen is Liquid will either put Alchemist mid against Kunkka, which I think should be fine actually for Alch, or they're going to put him in the safe lane where he will absolutely be contested.
Yeah.
But, you know, I got to say already before Liquid's last pick, I like their draft more this time. I feel like there's a clearer direction. I feel like there's a clearer plan of what they're trying to do, and I think it matches up better against what they're facing as well. So if they can execute fights, I could absolutely see them put up a much better game here. They have plenty of time.
It's not the overwhelming team fight of LGD that we kind of felt in the last game. And a Timbersaw, will be the final one.
Okay.
So that's actually a Weeha Timbersaw and a Miracle Alchemist.
Yep.
Allowing Mind Control to play that Omni Knight role, and that gives a roaming Marana of GH. And as far as LGD goes, everything is pretty much exactly where we expected it to be too.
Yep.
That FY and X Nova together. Always a fun combo. Hey, is he? Yeah, he's got both the heads.
And we've seen, I think Secret here at TI have played Shadow Demon Jakirah dual support. And what they did was they put Yapzor on the Jakirah, and he got really farmed and got level 25 in that game, which is an insane talent for Jakirah.
It's just Yapzor in general getting really farmed.
And this time around, it's the other way around, though. It's a position 5 Jakirah and a 4 Shadow Demon. And I think a 4 Shadow Demon in this game has quite a bit of merit because Soul Catcher is so good, and because just having Shadow Demon have good items so he can deal damage, I think is what it's going to take here. They need to have enough damage to kill heroes. Aghanim Scepter is amazing. Then you can purge off Guardian Angel on 3 targets from the Shadow Demon with Demonic Purge. And, you know, yeah, it's just solid. I would agree with putting the SD on 4 in this game for that reason. I think Jakirah's farm will not counter
But
fat heroes like Timber and Alchemist.
Jakirah is meant to be the liquid fire guy, right? Like he's meant to walk up, hit a
We'll
tower,
see.
and just help push down the lanes.
I have a feeling he's not going to level it very much. I think he might go something like 4-4-0
You
or
were talking about
4-4-1.
like ice path control against Wii and against everyone else.
Just so they fight better. Because I think it's unrealistic for Jakirah to expect to take towers as the only push that they have, and that's going to make the difference. I think it's more coming down to can we win a fight first and then just get it anyway. But yeah, this last pick Timbersaw is really, really good. It's one of Weeha's comfort picks, so look forward to seeing that for Liquid.
I love how in Weeha's previous match it was an 8-0-1 Meepo.
Oh.
It's just like what shows up in that tiny little area. 30 assists on the last SD game, huh?
All right, well, here we go. Let's see how it goes. So Weeha is set to have a matchup against the Kunkka mid, which is a Timbersaw favorite matchup. The reason Liquid picked this hero here is it's good against Kunkka, it's good against Sand King, and it is good against the Lifestealer, but he's not completely safe in the sense that there is decent damage and there's decent lockdown on LGD's side.
Why is that a VG Gaming head bonk?
I don't know.
it's LGD giving a VG Gaming head bonk. LGD's going to get there in time to get the... well, actually, were they going to put the ward down? FY's around the corner, so he plants down the Observe wall, but that instantly gets pinged out. If they planted that down instantly, then maybe it wouldn't have been scouted out. But you've already got Kiro with a sentry ward. So
He's not using it, though.
No, but he definitely, like, Marana definitely pinged it. GH most definitely pinged that.
Oh, they wanted to give it to Alchemist, maybe? He hasn't skilled Grieval's Greed yet. Are they planning something here?
What, like a concoction fight? Maybe.
I would very, very much disagree with that choice. So,
considering no one's gone concoction until like level, like earliest is 5 on an Alchemist. And Mind Control's having its own little battle with Arme up on the top bounty room. But yeah, here they come. Miracle still holding the point. And,
oh shit, they're 4.
Oh,
run!
Maybe we shouldn't be here. Maybe I should actually level up Greed. And stun. Goes onto the SD, arrow flies forward, but SD gets himself a double Burrowstrike. The poison's starting to stack up. They look towards Miracle, but then over towards Kiro again. FY, another Shadow Poison. He's not gonna throw it. And out of all of this, it's 3 bounty runes to LGD and 1 to Team Liquid. And by the way, Mind Control and Arme have been beating the crap out of each other for the last minute. Like they've been going hammer and tongs.
Miracle also didn't skill Grieval's Greed. So they didn't even get the bonus gold from the 1 bounty rune they got. I'm not sure if he's worried that he needs to skill Acid Spray to even sustain and be in this lane, but perhaps that's the
against
that's
the tri-lane.
Here
Comes the arrow. Concoction would actually guarantee this kill against the SK. Burrowstrike through. It doesn't come out in time, and he levels Greed now.
Okay, this is weird. Could have probably just skilled it for the rune then. If this is not the opportunity where you would use another spell, I'm not sure what he was waiting for and planning for. Maybe, yeah, maybe Acid Spray was the idea. Perhaps they would need it. But. So it's going to be a 2v3 lane. Alchemist will absolutely get great farm in this lane if they don't send down the extra hero and the Shadow Demon to contest Alch.
Yeah, but ST just got sent up towards the top lane to try and zone Mind Control out. I think Arme gave the SOS call and said, like, okay, Mind Control's going to start to bully me. 4 mangoes, he can just harass and regen through it all.
Yeah, and the downside, of course, to tri-lane like this is XP deficit, right? If you don't get pulls off, you will be slowly... Not net XP out-leveled, of course, but each individual hero on the other side will have higher levels. And so far so good for LGD, honestly. If you're playing 2v3 and you get the lane in this position at the start of the game, that's already a pretty big victory, because he will be getting CS on Sand King and full levels here. Arrow gonna whiff.
Just threads the needle.
Scored a goal there, GH. Okay, and now Korra dewarded. What? Maybe he wasn't sure they warded. He took his time with this.
Yeah, he had the sentry from the very beginning.
Yeah, he was not convinced that they warded, so he waited until he could check if the camp was blocked.
Like I was wondering, like maybe he would just put the ward down after the fight had happened, so you get like better regeneration.
Oh, Xnova
blast into an arrow, but the Burrowstrike gonna create a little bit of space. Xnova with a stick charger, still not enough to survive. GH will find the kill, and Charles, because he Burrowstriked in, has to sandstorm defensively underneath his own tower. Still a very good start for Miracle as far as CS goes. 13 for 1. That's going to just start to boost up the net worth, even if you don't get the bounty runes at the very beginning.
And now Liquid are going to start pulling. So I think... Oh, hang on. Korra?
There's your stun. Arrow flies forward. Look at Chalice taking it for the team. Burrowstrike's available only because he consumes the mango, but he doesn't have Sandstorm available. One more hit if they can get close enough to him will do it, but it won't happen. In fact, Chalice will probably have to walk all the way back to base now, leaving Xnova alone in the lane.
Yeah. He's not even that fast. He doesn't have boots. This takes quite a while to do. But the one thing they are doing is they're disrupting, right? Alchemist is fighting them quite a lot, so he's missing some CS at least, while Lifestealer is getting totally clean free farm. 18 and 10. Alchemist is 16 and 2, so Wayless denies. But yeah, you have to imagine if Korra would have opened this pull earlier, they would have pulled already, probably. Maybe once or twice more, and that could have had a very positive impact on this 3v2 lane.
And they're only even able to get a single pull off. Like there's no stacking, there's no camp to pull over to either. They've been making sure that's been blocked up. Trouble up on top lane, mind control. He's already had a lot of problems because every time he tries to go for a pull, FY is just disrupting him. Oh, Somnus, that's problematic. Weeha's going to pull him back, Somnus. Very lucky to survive this. But he'll take it. But this gives Weeha the lane. And he's also, like, this is now the second hero from LGD that has to do the walk of shame.
Yeah. He's done a good job so far in Kunkka, actually, but now it gets really hard, especially when Timber hits 6. But so far, they've been even on CS in that mid lane. But yeah, as you said, this walk back to base will absolutely lose him the lane. Not by too much yet, though.
The only one's having a really fantastic lane is Ame up on top.
Yeah, he's super happy.
Yeah, it's a 3-0 CSing mind control. It's he's very, very happy. Yep, he's going to miss the target. Burrowstrike forward. Yeah, 12-0 to the 3-0. So Challenge definitely getting a lot more out of the off lane for LGD than mind control has for Liquid.
It's also experience. He's a full level ahead too. Mind control is level 2.5 minute 430, and it's hard, you know. Like
He's tried to pull, but the SD stops him.
Yeah, and now the lane is really rough. This is a phase boots Lifestealer, and you're level 2. So this Shadow Demon at this point, job's done. You can do whatever you want.
He's even rotating around.
Yeah, he's gonna go for the bounty rune. And we'll see. Maybe he'll come bottom. He can keep sitting on this Omni Knight top and just ruining his game, but I'm not sure it's the highest impact play on the map.
Kuro maybe really overstaying his welcome here. Charles needs to keep the body block going because the arrow didn't connect on Charles. He's inside the sandstorm. Kuro's just standing his ground, doing as much damage as he can. And now he'll walk off.
Got the rune.
Yeah, you're right. He did pick it up. Burrowstrike, the arrow, actually able to connect, and he'll finish up with the Burrowstrike. Kuro goes for the extra stun over towards Xnova, then hides inside the tree line. Kuro's already got one of these kills. The dual breath is able to clip Kuro, but he'll be okay. Meanwhile, mind control not so okay. Inside the tree lines, Ame continues to dive him. Doesn't have a creep wave and doesn't care.
Right, so we saw a little bit of rotation from FY into mid, but didn't have success here either. But Ghost Ship is now available, and the Timbersaw is playing on half health, so technically this is a possible play in the next like 10 seconds before Weehaw gets too tanky again, and he's baiting.
Yep. Bring him forward, then maybe pull him back. X marks a spot. Torrent and Ship, everything's going to be thrown down on top of Weehaw. It'll connect GH, looking to follow up, connects on the arrow on FY. 4 Shadow Poison stacks, but it still won't be enough.
They didn't have enough in the trunk there. They didn't have enough mana. There was no mana for Torrent, there was no mana for Disruption, and he didn't have the Tidebringer either. Or if he did, he missed it, or didn't.
I think he missed the Tidebringer, but the Torrent was, I thought the Torrent was there. It wasn't.
Didn't go for it fast enough. He let Weeha get away from the ship before he did the Tidebringer cleave hit. So he stays alive, and that's really good news for Liquid, because that was a big commitment. Shadow Demon spent a lot of time on this move without being successful. Sure, they go Shrine, but it's resources used, and more time for Miracle bottom, and Sanking's game is rough now.
That's really nice from Chalice. He actually Quelling Bladed the Sentry Ward the second Korra put it down, and that's why GH has to plan a second one, and then a third one. He's actually going to get rid of the secondary Sentry Ward by planning his own, but it all comes a little too late. GH already gets the hit in. But nice, fun play from Chalice, burning 200 gold of Liquid.
Yep, that's why you got to do this, though. Sanking offlane generally either starts with sentries or gets sentries ferried out, because it's the way you sustain yourself is with this sandstorm. You have to be able to remove sentries so you have some sort of safety. But yeah.
And they're actually going on bottom lane too on Alchemist, but that ain't gonna happen.
Level 6.
Yeah, Chemical Rage is up, and it's gonna be burnt. And look how deep GH is going in. Observer Ward's being placed. He just wants to make sure there's no way anyone can be slipping out and just any kind of recovery farm. And hello, Courier. Goes pretty much over the top of GH. He doesn't have a TP scroll. So GH, here's that combination you're talking about before. Pull back into the Marana, able to leap down to the low ground, well away from Somnus. Again, wasting a little bit more time.
They might just leave him alone. Oh, nice ward, GH. He gets to ward here now. Cool.
Yeah, you know, just wait this out. He'll see him move back into the lane. Weeha's tanking the tower in the mid lane, so they definitely see this. And SY rotates around, gets the disruption over on Kuro. That's Kuro. Doesn't get trapped in, just walks himself further to the north, over to relative safety as GH is ready with his own arrow.
They might have forgotten about him.
Yep. Oh, that timber chain forward, holding FY inside the Chakram. Chains away with the Chakram kill. That's Weeha's first kill of the game, 4th for Liquid.
And Miracle is total free farm. That's the biggest win here, is that the Alchemist is doing very, very well. The support duo of Ogre Marana is super strong, and it can offset even the weakness of Alchemist, at least if you're playing 2v3. And you gotta wonder if Shadow Demon stayed top too long. Like, maybe he could have rotated bottom after 2 or 3 minutes when he secured this Lifestealer completely and got something more done, but now it's too late, so.
X-Nova, even though he's level 2, he wants to try and help out here. Dual breathing over on top of Kuro. Hit the Liquid fire with the Burrowstrike. Kuro, more than enough dots on him, even the stick charges won't save him, and he knows it. And that's level 3 now for Jakirah.
He's gonna go Ice Path?
I'm wondering. He's holding the point for the moment.
GH, okay. Enemy territory.
Bring him back over again, but hey.
Horribly mistimed.
Something is not quite right. And GH will just leap once again.
Somnus is generally really good at this X-Torrent timing, but that was... I think that was off by almost half a second there. Sure, you have to be pretty clutch against Marana, right? But you can let the ship come in. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you miss your spells. Sometimes you die on your tier 2 tower minute 10.
Weeha just doesn't care. He had to burn his one shot just to have enough mana to get the Whirling Death kill. But yeah, again, doesn't care when he's able to achieve it. Miracle's gone actually into his jungle now. Like, yeah, easy farm up, protected by observers and sentries everywhere. You do have the Hand of Midas on Lifestealer. He got that very early on too, like 9.5 minutes in. He was able to complete that. And Mind Control still doing it rough on the off lane. He's got almost as much net worth as the Marana.
It's funny how the Sand King that we've seen be miserable bottom is still like 1,000 gold ahead of the Omni Knight. Mind Control's game is just flat out terrible, and I don't know how much he could have done about it, really. Oh, this smoke has to work.
Korra's coming over.
Farmed. Oh, it's a double stack of golems.
He really wants to finish farming this one. FY is going to create a copy. TP support needs to come over, but here comes the ship. Here comes your torrent as well. Miracle will go up and straight back down again. There's not enough regeneration inside that Alchemist to keep him alive. But Weeha has TP'd in, looking for a revenge onto X-Nova, and he will be able to claim it. Who else gets out? Everyone. They're TPing. FY hiding in the trees, but no one's going to look for him there.
So 1 for 1, but they kill the highest net worth hero on the map. You're happy with that? And in the meantime, your Lifestealer's free farming, and Ame will not go the Radiance build. He's going to go Armlet. I'm not sure if you mentioned that earlier.
I did not. Just the Midas kind of style.
Yeah. So
but it's what you were mentioning during the drafting phase, right? Like, you want to see him go this this combat style.
Yeah, you play tempo, I think, against Alchemist in this game. I think this is the right way to go. Maybe you go straight Deso after and just try to have the damage it takes to cut through these tanky heroes.
Is that enough, though? Like, you still need to deal with a Timbersaw.
You got a better idea?
Not really.
Okay, well, there you
Like, Deso's the cheapest thing at the fastest time. X marks the spot, Torrent, the combination, how much have you got to bring down this Timbersaw?
Oh,
He
good
tries
ice
to chain away, but the Ice Path just holds him in position with the Purge as well. 4 stacks of poison, banish him again, but FY's out of mana. But you've got yourself another ship, but he's able to just chain himself away using the Moonlight Shadow to walk it off.
Just kill him.
What? Yeah. Have you got the idea on how to do that too? Anyone bring a Silver Edge?
He
Anyone bring
also
something?
wouldn't have died if the ship hit. That kill was not possible. He has Hood. It's way too tanky. Yeah.
See, how long would it take, like, for, like, maybe that's the item choice. Like, you just get the Silver Edge, something like that that's able to stop the Timber.
Yeah, but that's only effective if you hit him before he has the stacks, right? If you hit him after, he still has the stacks that he did before. You just prevent him from gaining more.
So then you need something to get through the armor and something to stop the regeneration. So you need Spirit Vessel, Desolator, AC.
The classic counter is Spirit Vessel, and then Timber will itemize against that, and then it's about placing the Spirit Vessel after he has used his defensive. If he goes Lotus or if he goes Yules, you save it until after he's forced to use that by something else, and then you Vessel him. And Konka almost has that Vessel, but
He's just bringing so much attention towards this mid lane. Take the Timber, sit behind the tower, force 3 to 4 heroes to rotate in. SK doesn't want to do this. He's 200 gold away from completing up his Blink Dagger. But having these supports, they're definitely not strong enough themselves. Even if Jakirah does have fantastic strength gain for his support hero, like, that just works in the favor of Wii with another Timber Chain forward. FY, Xnova knows he needs to actually stand inside the Shark Room to commit the Ice Path. The only way to get back up to safety. And now here comes Ame. Kuro runs off to the side. Weeha knows he can just chain himself away from this Lifestealer who can't control him.
Kuro's dead.
Yeah. Oh, he should be. Weeha's still on the run back out of this one, so we get to go PMP. Kuro is in very, very deep with the SK. Jakirah almost dying to Kuro, but there's enough support to arrive. Charles, FY,
Charles is
and
dead.
Xnova.
That's a good timing. 13-minute dagger after that early laning stage? You're happy with that. This game is better than I thought it would be.
You haven't even taken a tower, so it's not even like a big injection of money from
It's
that.
just been getting some pretty good CS.
And now the delivery system. Special package. They would like to get probably GH as the easier kill. Epicenter preparing up. They'll have to instantly blink and Burrowstrike into the trees. Almost none of it is hit on Weeha. 2 pulses of the Epicenter only. He'll chain up, and Ogre moving in under the cover of the Moonlight Shadow. Double sentries being played just in case one wasn't enough, but Jakirah just chains up with the multicast. Good defensive hit, and then the triple Burrowstrike. Team Liquid and the Torrent. Their feet are so wet. They're 6 feet under. Weeha, he'll go down as well. Miracle, run away.
Bonk.
A BG bonk.
And that... I don't know if LGD deserved that, in a way, when you think about it. Like, the way they started off that fight with completely whiffing Epicenter and the stun onto the Timber, that was not a planned bait. It was a mis-execution, and then Liquid come in, and then Chalice hits the money stun there. But, man, what a crazy way that whole thing developed. They just landed all their second wave of spells perfectly.
Yeah, I just want to see it again.
That's how it
in
goes.
Nice slow motion. And here she is. Chalice, whiff, 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 Burrow, whiff, and now the fight begins.
So he's fine now. Timber's fine.
Yep.
They can choose to back out here, but Liquid feels strong because they've cast so many spells. The call is to go. They get in on the Marana, but this stun,
Chalice.
flawless. Mind Control just walks into it and gets killed off, and that's just a mistake. Like, he needs to not line up with his teammates, and they get punished hard. And that's something LGD's lineup's really, really good at, is they have lots of AoE, lots of teamfight and stuns.
It seems crazy as well to take that fight when you had no GA. Like,
Yeah, you have no GA, and I think
there's
Miracle
no
wasn't
auras, there's no nothing. Miracle's looking for his own stun onto Chalice, but he'll have to blink underneath the tower to get it. With the acid spray, Arrow flies forward, but Miracle is the one to claim the kill and the tier 1 tower afterwards. There's no fortification to stop that. But down on bottom lane, they're hunting. Weeha staying in what is normally the enemy of the Timbersaw, the trees.
Every enemy can be useful once in a while.
Actually, technically, Timbersaw is the enemy for trees, not of trees. Like, not of the Timbersaw. He likes trees.
He likes breaking them. That's
Yes.
not really how you like things normally.
You know, I still miss that whole, like, how many trees can the entire community destroy?
Oh my god, that clicking game.
that was so good.
Oh my god, I don't know how much I clicked in that.
Oh. They were great community challenges. I hope they come back sometime soon.
I remember how ridiculous the original numbers were.
How many illusions can you
okay.
create? Now we go again. Banishment and the Ice Path hold him in position. Burn down Weeha. The Timber Chain won't work. This time the tree is his enemy because it obviously moved. And the stun. Oh boy, Arme. Team Liquid just want to prove they've got some damage. X-Nova wants to prove he's got some control, TPing away to safety. FY, he won't be so lucky. No disruption, no catcher, nothing really to do apart from, well, to die. He's making it work for it though.
Yep. Feels a bit naive to try to gank this. I said naive again. You love when I do that, right?
I do.
Do you really?
I don't. I really don't.
This kill just doesn't. I don't even know if it's possible. Like, Lifestealer doesn't have Deso yet. It's an Alchemist that's really farmed that you're trying to gank with Lifestealer, Jakirah, and Shadow Demon. I don't think they have the damage yet. This level 2 Soul Catcher.
And they're about to be facing an AC on Miracle too.
And this is disregarding the possibility that there's even one teammate nearby, then he doesn't die. It doesn't matter who it is. In this case, they even had time to TP in.
They're coming to fight again. This tower drops and Miracle, if he gets the last hit, which he will, he can now go by the AC. But Charles, this time he's going to hit with the Epicenter and the double Burrowstrike. They want to kill off Miracle and get the Chemical Rage up, but they have the damage output to get the kill. Weeha chains away. SK saved by FY, and maybe with the Purge, Weeha, who cannot walk away. He wants to chain again. The Burrowstrike barely misses from Chalice. He almost killed himself with it, but it won't matter. They're drawing him back with the X mark. And two heroes go down as the two tankiest heroes of Liquid. Man, I feel like you've got the Kyle syndrome. You say something can't happen and it happens.
It's a bit different though. That wasn't the 3-man gank with Lifestealer, Shadow Demon, and Jakirah. That was a 5-man engage with Epicenter. That's a bit different. Then you can kill him. Absolutely. That was a great spell casting from LGD. That was pretty much perfect execution. And Mind Control even tried to save the Alchemist. He cast all his spells correctly and it still wasn't enough. Maybe he didn't have mana for GA. That's possible. Or it wasn't skilled at the time. But yeah, that was maybe that little bit that was missing to keep Miracle alive in this instance.
The issue when you have an Arcane boot Omni, he's gone to phase boots.
Yeah.
Team Liquid are grouping up around Roshan.
Yeah, that's still, you know, they get this DD, and Miracle is still, you know, they got the tower. And sure that you lose 2 heroes here, but I still think this Roshan probably belongs to them.
Yeah, Somnus is looking. Torrent's going to connect. Sees the fact that Miracle has the double damage, and he's already started it up. Weeha will be the neighborhood. So begin the poison spray, begin the Torrent spam. Moonlight Shadow from Team Liquid. Sentry wards, where are they right now? As the arrow, the chain stuns, they're going to be absolutely perfect on top of the Jakirah, but the GA protecting Liquid. They still haven't taken out Roshan yet. Somnus is in the middle of the pit. Weeha chaining himself back out, but he's pulled back in again. Not where he wants to be, especially with the Spirit Vessel on top of him. Again, he is down with the Alchemist, and the Torrent is going to make it impossible to actually get the hit into Roshan. Who's going to kill him? Killed by the Radiant. Then the Aegis, the Immortal, snatched out by Somnus. He'll be able to survive. His Arme just goes ham. Look at him just rip everybody apart. Get over here!
Okay,
GH will go down to everyone from Liquid is dead.
Now I Kyled it. I said Liquid would get that. They got the Roche. I was right.
Yeah,
they got the Roche.
They got the Roche. They didn't take the Aegis.
Say they would get I didn't say they would win the fight or get the Aegis, but they got the Roche. Okay, so we're fine.
You know what? How many times are we actually going to see Liquid start the fight, though, with Alchemist as well as Timber being the first casualties of war?
Honestly, I think Liquid were as surprised as I was with how fast Alchemist died. That was the Desolator reveal that they didn't account for, and Omni even G8'd pretty quickly. They G8'd and they forced Staff Miracle, and he still died. There was just too much damage. All the spells connected again. Lifestealer was hitting him for massive damage together with the Sand King. You're going to see it here. So Miracle is sitting on pretty good health. He's currently Heavenly Graced, so the stun is short, but the damage is just insane. Epicenter, Sandstorm, Burrowstrike, Kunkka spell. I think only the Torrent actually connected. It's just Ame just destroying him with rage.
And it's like
I don't think Mind Control could have played that fight better, even. That wasn't even on the defensive play. He just couldn't survive it. He couldn't take the damage.
I think actually he got the last hit on Roshan too, so he managed to get the big man.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. Team Liquid. They believe they can still get back in and fight. Even though there's gold advantage, like 20 minutes into a game in LGD, like they've actually got the gold advantage. Not by much, but they've got it. Down on bottom lane, Concoction flies. Charles. He's got Burrowstrike available, gonna go deeper into the trees, begins his own TP out. Is anyone gonna stun?
Oh, Korra! Dude, that was so close. There is no way he gets out of this. That would have been... Oh, man.
Oh, well, Liquid, they hunted for it. They needed it.
And they got it.
Conquer is now finished up a Radiant, so Somnus has that available.
Yep.
A little bit more damage in for Miracle. He hits the level 15 talent with a plus 50.
So what was it we were talking about in the draft, that Lifestealer could go combat and then they could get another hero mid that could go Radiance? Which one was that? It wasn't Kunkka. We were talking about someone else that could go that so Lifestealer can Radiance. Or aggro build.
Yeah, who the hell were we talking about that?
But we're in the same situation though, right? Like it's the Kunkka instead doing it, but the logic is the same.
Yeah. One becomes your team fight presence, and the other becomes your frontline combat single target. That's all we were looking for. And he's going to go for like a full heart too, so Lifestealer's going to want to look for the reset. But he hasn't gone like the early combat with the Desolator as well as the Armlet. Works an absolute treat for him.
And after you've seen these last two fights, you got to wonder if Miracle made the right call going AC, actually. Perhaps raw HP would have played a bigger part here. You're still playing into Soul Catcher though, which is tricky. And that's largely what is also blowing him up in these fights, that, yeah, you can buy a heart, but then the Soul Catcher is still going to murder you. But maybe straight BKB in this game after Radiance is the play?
It felt like it made sense considering how well the Timbersaw was pushing down the lanes. Because that's where Liquid's momentum was going. It was taking tower after tower after tower after tower, or always being there, adding some pressure to it. But obviously with the multiple fights going wrong, things just start to turn around.
Yep.
Same with the gold though. Starts to shift back up again because Alchemist has got a little bit of free space to farm. The BKB's coming on the courier now, so you get your wish.
Yeah, he needs to play this. He needs to play this BKB well. If he's Heavenly Grace, there's kind of no way he gets chain stunned until death, so he will get the BKB off. But
really nice Observer Ward. That scattered out the smoke. Mind Control wasn't up the hillside before that happened. Somnus has already got the kill onto the tower. Cleans up the creep wave. So Alchemist would love to run around the back. He wants the fight. The BKB's there. They want to get in on this engagement. But you've also got the delivery service. Chalice is ready once again. Just walk up a hill. Here comes your movement forward. Miracle already looking for the hit, and they've got the kill over on the Jakirah, so no Ice Path shenanigans in this case. And they do have the extra follower. Weeha moving in. The epicenter is doing heavy amounts of damage. They all push back up again. Mind Control so low, but he gets the GA off, allowing Weeha to stand and fight Miracle. This time around, he's got all the life, and Weeha and Mind Control causing all sorts of problems in the back lines, allowing Miracle to finally bring down Chalice. They'll have the buybacks in, and they're looking to push forward. A quick blink away. Miracle is out to safety. Weeha, maybe not so lucky, but remember, he's the tanky one. Hold him in the Ice Path. Doesn't have a lot of charges to go on that reactive armor, so they can bring him down. But LGD, an expensive fight to take buyback on the SK as well as the Jakirah.
And their Aegis too. Without the Aegis on the Kunkka, that fight goes really bad, I think.
But they're coming to push.
Yep.
They want the tier 2 tower in mid, and they should easily be able to claim it. And you're right for the Jakirah, 1 point liquid fire only.
Yeah, I think this is the best way to build Jakirah in most games right now. Ice Path is a fantastic spell, and the way it scales by half a second stun and -1 second cooldown, the efficiency of it just goes up like crazy. Level 1, it has 12 times as long cooldown as stun duration, and level 4, it has about 3.5. So it gets so much better.
GH really has to make a run for some of these bounty runes. Like, they're going to spawn up in 7 seconds time, but it's going to be 3 runes going the way of LGD because they've totally abandoned the bottom. Liquid are smoking up, looking for their opportunity, but LGD are not gonna play anything here. Take the 3, back up.
Yep. Oh, Lifestealer got a heart?
He did.
I thought he was gonna go Nullifier before that, actually. Wonder why he...
Here we go, Concoction. Blink it, able to get the stun over on the Jakirah. Easy, quick kill for Miracle.
Alchemist with Bloodlust just looks so absurd.
That's a long death timer as well. About a minute for the Jakirah because he bought back in the last fight.
Yep. They're probably gonna concede this tower.
They need the creep wave is the only downside.
It's coming. 10 seconds and that tower's dead.
Yeah. And what does LGD really care? The Nullifier is coming next from Mame. He's got it queued up. He's looking for that extra space to farm up. The BKB is almost completed for Somnus. That's a little bit short, about 600. And you can get a lot of that from just the creep wave pushing on top. And FY's got a Blink Dagger, so he can sit very, very far back when initiation happens.
And it's a super good way of reliably hitting Soul Catcher as well. He has Lens and Dagger. It's very easy to get Soul Catcher off, and it makes it easier to get that extra hero in it too. If you can get 2 hero Soul Catchers, it's really big difference. gives you suddenly the potential of bursting off the 2 cores or 1 core in any protective support or whatever that's a little bit too close in the area.
Look at FY, he just wants to get a copy of one of the Alchemist illusions. Oh, thank you.
I'll take that.
Got him. Get him in range of the wave.
Oh, do you remember when Alchemist illusions had Greevil's Greed?
I do, yeah.
That was great. Thanks.
SD becomes the greatest hero ever. Moonlight Shadow. Team Liquid looking to find. Arme is the man presenting himself close, but remember, we are during nighttime phase, so the vision game is not fantastic. In fact, it's LGD who have the Observer and Sentry down, so they see the Sentry being planted, so that allowed BKB from Somnus to be triggered. He just got the slight early warning system, and SK Chalice ready to go again with the blink. Burrowstrike over on 2 into the epicenter. What's he got? Kuro, that's what they've got. Didn't even need to use the epicenter. Burrowstrike's off cooldown in 3 seconds time. Blink's gonna take a little longer than that, but with the Purge mind control, having a hard time getting away as Weeha brought back with the X-Mark spot into the macro Pyre and Ice Path. No way to escape, or does he? Timber chain up, but he's still being locked in position. Another X-Mark spot. It just keeps coming. Lotus Orb, it won't care. A double kill for Arme. Another long death time of 50 seconds for the Timbersaw.
Perfect timing on the BKB arriving for Somnus. It came out on the courier, right? When they jumped him.
Yep.
So he had the ward or the vision, and I mean, that's just... It's either it's planned and it's really good, or it's just really lucky timing, but either way, you know, that's Dota.
It's that
These moments happen. Good arrow, but no follow-up, of course.
Yeah, it's that moment. I don't know if the smoke had actually broken by that point, but if the Sentry Ward didn't go down, they wouldn't have seen that, because there was an Observer and Sentry on that same on the same position.
Yeah.
That's what gave LGD the information, like at least clearly. Hey, keep racking up those points, GH. Fantasy points with every single stun.
And you see
He's
how
actually got
much...
15.2 for this game so far.
Excellent. I wonder why you're checking that.
Because I love my fantasy team.
Oh, really?
But I don't have GH in it today.
Oh, what? Then why are you checking?
Just because maybe someone made a really bad decision to put GH in their fantasy team.
That's pretty harsh.
Oh, it's a bad decision because Team Liquid don't play multiple games, three series in a day.
I see.
Yeah, for anyone out there who is doing fantasy teams, here's the tip. Get the teams during the group stage that play 3 series in a day. Good tip. Just in case you didn't know.
You heard it here first, guys. Here's your tip. Don't
Weeha?
pick Liquid in your fantasy.
Man,
Okay?
Weeha just lost half life. Walking forward, he's at least going to get the Lotus Orb off, but he's just being trapped down. Weeha Timber chains a little bit further
He's still
forward.
alive.
He is still alive. Let's go. Chalice in a little bit of trouble. Burrowstrike's up the hill. The Ignite's going to follow him very, very deep. Weeha, well, okay, don't test that whole living thing. You know, walk away from this as SD does buy back.
That worked out very well for Liquid this time around. Weeha survived. They got the kill on the Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon buys back and they reset. And I don't think they really used anything except maybe Moonlight Shadow.
Yep.
Yeah. Alchemist didn't use his BKB.
Now they're going to smoke and go.
Okay.
But Chemical Rage is on cooldown for 17 more seconds. So
This is a really big moment.
This is the only downside. Like, they don't have that available. There's no BKB on the Kunkka. There's no protection from Somnus. The smoke in the backlines, delivery system SK is ready to go, and he'll instantly go on top of Weeha with a burst out. Weeha! Oh. Until he explodes! They'll get no, actually, no, they can't even get the rebuttal because FY, defensive disruption. Somnus, they can't protect him enough. Miracle, sending right on top of him, moving his attention over towards Arme. The back under the tower. Another Ice Path will connect. Another double Burrowstrike from Chalice. Kuro's low in life. The GH will pop up as Miracle. He looks over towards Jakirah and able to bring him down inside the tree line. Push to the tier 2 tower in mid, and he blinks again. Another disruption from FY, trying to control up Miracle, using this Radiant Spurn for his advantage. He's just taking them AWOL away from the rest of the heroes, and that allows him to go on top of mind control. Arme moves forward. Miracle does have the triple kill, but Arme is the bigger beast, bringing down Kuro. And he knows he matches up well against the Alchemist. Oh wait, he actually got...
He didn't leap? He had 3 leaps? Maybe he thought he was going to be fine, or maybe he just thought he was dead no matter what. I think he had it. He had his stuff to try to escape that, but...
Yeah, it looked like it, yeah.
I thought that fight was going to unfold much better for Liquid after they got the Kunkka kill to begin with, but this long chase does end up costing them 2 supports.
4 bounty runes in for Liquid
That's
while
the
Alchemist
big
is
one.
up. So hey, everything pays off now.
That is the real win there, is the bounty runes. And yeah, what sets this whole thing up is that Kunkka doesn't have BKB ready. And I'm pretty sure that's what prompted Liquid to go for the smoke, even with Chemical Rage on cooldown for 20 seconds like you pointed out. You gotta you got to take advantage of these situations when they're given to you, and that was a very quick move. And
FY tried its best. Like with that defensive disruption, actually kind of messed around.
It was good, but
Miracle.
it was late too, right? Like
yeah, he was like a 10-15% HP.
Yeah.
But Miracle did so much damage so fast, they just weren't ready for it. And also note that Miracle isn't just building himself up anymore. He's done. He's now looking towards the Aghanims upgrades.
Yeah, I think you give.
You give it to Omni Knight, right? Letting Mind Control sit a little bit further back, or is it the double Chakrams for Timber?
I like the double Chakram, but he doesn't have mana for it, actually. You can't give it to Timber right now.
Okay, so best thing is Mind Control? Actually, Ogre? No.
I'm not sure. It kind of depends on what you're aiming for. I don't think the Marana one is bad to give either. It's a lot of extra magic damage. It gives them better wave clear. Giving the Omni his is also fine, but to be honest, GA hasn't really been the problem in the last couple of fights, in my opinion. I think he's used it pretty well. But they're still playing into Demonic Purge and soon to be a he has the Nullifier and Lifestealer.
This is actually so good for LGD at the moment. This one Observer Ward, this right on top of the Dire Shrine.
They see everything.
Sorry, the Radiant Shrine. I think LGD, like, Team Liquid unaware of it. They put their Sentry Ward too far towards the east. They thought they got rid of them all. Oh, nice Arrow-Cat Chalice.
Got him.
Hey, fantasy points, which you shouldn't have selected for.
Well, if GH gets another 20 arrows, he might get more than a player that plays 3 games.
I don't think it totally works that way. It's like everyone thinks that Alchemist gets a crap ton of fantasy points just because of the GPM, but it's not. It doesn't really count that much. It's 16.8 right now for the Alchemist. That's an okay game, but he's got 31,000 net worth.
Yep.
In 32 minutes, and it's still only giving you 18 points. And that's everything combined. That's including the 8 kills he's got. But anyway, let's not talk more about fantasy points. I can do that all day.
Yeah, I know.
Just like a techie strat.
What do you do next? I'm just thinking for Liquid, like the transitioning now, this is when Alchemist wants to win games. This is when he peaks and wants to finish. He's 6-slotted. He could get it maybe an Aegis and then go. If you can't finish the game at this point, I'm a bit concerned for them going later that their damage is just going to be too weak. Like the only physical damage their lineup really has is Alchemist, and it will not compare to Lifestealer and Kunkka later on. So maybe they have to try for a timing push soon with this Aegis and get something done.
Well,
I'm
Moonlight
trying to
Shadow
set
in
up
from
for it
Liquid,
with a fight here.
but LGD are ready too. They've got the SK infested up in the back lines, looking for a new target. With the Observer and Sentry being planted, LGD have really good information around, at least from the rune area across. And that's what he jumps in for. Jump in, grab the haste rune. Bottom creep wave still pushing in for LGD. It's not going to be anything too problematic. But it's at least going to make Team Liquid look behind themselves.
Yeah, Alk's going to go back and take that quickly.
They want to get the
The
D-Ward.
ward is still there.
They're going to get the D-Ward now. Observer and Sentry is down. TP's coming on top of the ward. The blink. Burrowstrike forward. Kiro, he could die so quickly. Arme, he's able to hold him in position. Miracle, Concoction will fly over to challenge. He was able to get himself pushed down into the lane. Ice Bar trying to create more space. But the issue is really for FY. He gets the disruption over on Miracle, but Weehar's already taken the SD's life. Chalice wants to take at least somebody back, or at least he'll take him in with a Burrowstrike forward. Now Arme has to go to work. Omni protected by that A on disc. They still want to kill him off with the boat. He connects, and the Torrent. They just hold them in position. The GA cannot do enough work. And maybe
Miracle's
Miracle,
so weak right now.
He doesn't have that chemical rage anymore. Pulled back into the ice
I
path.
leaped
Oh,
into the ice
GH!
path.
He went back into it too. Weeha, he's now the next target. Timber chains himself back up, but once again the Torrent grabs him, pulls him back. Check.
4 and 5 fight. You gotta say it, right? Like, Ogre dies. Liquid start off this fight. They start chasing out. Sand King gets the Ghost Scepter off on the Concoction, so he stays alive forever. They get to make the turnaround play with the Infest.
Oh.
They did kill the Shadow Demon on the way, I suppose, so it kind of was a 4 and 4, but the difference was, in order to kill the Shadow Demon, Liquid had to dive really far and get out into this open area where Kunkka and the Jakirah love to fight.
Why did they buy back on 2? Oh no, GH. He has to 4-star.
He's fine.
Yeah, I'm basically, he's got no more leaps.
He's got Lotus.
The Summoners is back towards Roshan. Alchemist is the only one who hasn't bought back yet.
Honestly, I'm not sure about this Mjolnir for Miracle, if it's doing enough. It doesn't deal damage to Lifestealer. Maybe he has to have some like really hard-hitting stuff.
Really nice shadowing him. The Chakram looks towards Roshan. Weehan's able to grab the Arcane Rune and run away from Exnova's Ice Path. Timber chains through as much damage as he can, but Weeha, he came underneath the Sentry Ward, planted just on the edge of the Roche pit.
Very good harass though. He's buying a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm allowing Alchemist to come back up.
It's also going to mean Sanka comes back up. They kind of respawn around the same time here, and this Infest should be coming in right now. But yeah. Lifestealer hits very hard and fast. He is pretty much maxed out. He will eat this Moon Shard and get an AC, I suppose, and then he's done. And you see it in the fight. 5 hits, pretty much any hero dies. You got to be really on your feet, and you got to be careful. Arrow scouting out, not finding anyone.
All right, Miracle, go buy that Aghanim Scepter now. He's actually, his surplus isn't enough. He'll sacrifice his buyback if he grabs the Aghanim Scepter at the moment.
Yeah, he's not going to do that.
No. Maybe just farm up the mid lane and get an easy quick 1,000 gold. And surplus 600 now. Just needs a little bit more time. But LGD, yeah, Roshan's starting to repair himself. Guys learn first aid.
$300 more to go for the Axe. I still feel like it's going to be really telling who he gives it to.
The Acid Spray only got 1 last hit in the mid lane. It's just a little unlucky. It's like, okay, I got 930 guys. Like, just a little bit more. All right, there. He's short by 70, but I think that's close enough.
No, it's not.
It's not?
Because he uses his unreliable gold first, right?
There it is.
Oh, he does it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
And it is... Wait.
That's... Wait, math?
It's on Timbersaw now.
Yeah, but why does he have buyback? Didn't it say not enough, and then he bought it and used it, and then he has enough?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Am I being Oh, it's because he gives it away, then his net worth falls. Then his buyback is cheaper. That's why.
Huh.
Because he passes it over, right? So you can buy it when you don't have buyback yet. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Cool, okay.
Gotta remember the buyback math.
Yeah. And yeah, the reliable, unreliable was irrelevant for the situation, by the way. It didn't matter. We weren't in that range. Okay, let's see.
So
any smoke?
Still look towards Russia. At least that Dire Observe Ward is now gone, so Team Liquid can feel a little bit more comfortable about things. And everyone's just checking Roshan. I love how Chalice is doing it. He's the torrent connects over on Weeha. Chalice, he comes up Burrowstrike. They're looking to just take out Korra at the very start. A quick 4-star gets Korra further away, but no, the Tidebringer. It hits so hard, and with the boat coming in, it's really problematic. But underneath the shrine, Team Liquid, the regeneration combining with the GA is still not enough. A double buyback is required, and one from SK2. Somnus just wants to walk this one off, but Miracle wants to kill him, and they've got him too. Mind Control actually gets the double kill, but Arme trying to go to work over on Weeha. Too much armor to work with, but the epicenter from Chalice and the triple Burrowstrike, putting Liquid in a rough position. The Burrowstrike, okay, these stuns on FY. He's in the front lines, creating copies of Miracle, and actually those SD illusions helping Arme to finish the job, but that's where you get the buyback in from the Alchemist. TP out towards the shrine. Weeha getting hit by yet another Spirit Vessel. They protected. The Lotus Orb is up, and now GH flies the arrow forward. No one's going to get hit by that one. Splits both the Creep Wave as well as the 3 heroes. And Miracle, he's too far forward. The Open Wind's trying to break him free. The Torrent, as the ship, they push him all back. Miracle forced up, but Chalice will stay with him, and they bring him down. 2 minutes on the sideline after the dive back, and Arme once more. Mind Control will TP out. Weeha, he has to intercept the creep waves or something, but no, he gets X-marked. He's going to be pulled back in once again. Chalice has the Burrowstrike, but the Timber Chain. Weeha with the TP away. No, the Burrowstrike, it pulls him back in. The Lotus Orb also works against him too, with the Torrent combination, cancelling the chain away. Weeha, he shall fall. There's enough poison on him without buyback. Timber is down. LGD have 5 heroes up, and this should be the game once again. LGD walk down the mid to claim the GG. Depends how hard and fast they push, but it's a 1.5-minute window. Tier 4s, that'll be the next target. Yeah, they're going to end this now.
Look at Lifestealer just mauling this. 5 seconds per tower. He's not even raging for it.
He doesn't need to. There's no real threat. The Burrowstrike comes in on Mind Control. He's protected a little bit, but now Arme in for the open wounds. Mind Control will lose it, but then he gets caught in the Torrent ship combination. They 4-staff him up almost inside the ice path. But the tier 4 towers are totally lost. They're doing everything they can, Liquid, to try and repel LGD, but Miracle will concede it with the GG call. LGD will 2-0 the series, keeping that top position in the group stage, and Team Liquid, Things are getting rougher and rougher with every single loss they face.
Not quite top position. They're
Not
they're,
yeah.
they're second.
They're second.
But
I'm
that's
saying,
still very
I'm saying upper bracket area.
absolutely upper bracket.
Yeah.